Will the Real Proverbs Guys fans please stand up? I repeat, will the Real Proverbs Guys fans please stand up? Oh, we're going to have a problem here. So check it out. I have something special for you guys today. I have to do this quickly before my wife catches on, but I think you guys are really going to dig this. This is the latest track from the 21st century psalmist, my beloved. I hope you enjoy.
I don't write to express my feelings, I write to escape them, to pull the weight from my chest before it can break me within, to get the sometimes lethal poison out, line by line, before it seeps too deep and starts to claim what's mine. Because if I let the thoughts linger, they darken the light I'm trying to shine. And who wants to be around someone lost inside their own mind? So I pour every shadow on the paper and let it all bleed, turning chaos to quiet, giving my restless thoughts room to breathe. Each word is a step out of places I don't want to stay, a fight for the dawn when my mind drifts too far into gray. It's not just ink, it's survival, it's learning to heal, a way to face storms without letting them steal what is real. So I'll keep writing, releasing what I can't outrun, until the darkness loosens and the light is won. And maybe it's more than coping, more than a way to survive. Maybe it's a gift from my creator that keeps me alive. He knew my mind would run like rivers that overflow, so he gave me a place where the rushing thoughts can go. A father who understands the noise I can't always tame, who didn't leave me drowning in it or ashamed of my name. Instead he gave me pages where my spirit can unwind, a holy kind of mercy for an overactive mind. So I don't just write in weakness, I write in grace, finding his hand in the chaos, his peace in his space. And I'll call him a good father as I lay it all down, because even in my breaking, he's never let me drown. Because even in my breaking, he's never let me drown. Because even in my breaking, he's never let me drown.
All right. And that is the latest track from the 21st century psalmist. It is called A Gift from God for an Overactive Mind, and it is awesome. Brother Rich, what's going on?
It's quite beautiful, man.
I'll tell you what, dude, I don't really like rap. Like, it's not my genre. I like listening to the oldies, like 50s, 60s, 70s, and then a little bit of, like, I'd call it older pop-ish stuff, but I don't like rap whatsoever. And that song hits so hard.
I can listen to a song probably like 100 times over before I really understand the lyrics. Naturally, I've always focused on the melody and stuff like that. I mean, that had a very good touching melody to it. It did sound a lot like Eminem's style and whatnot, but it was overall well put together. Here comes Diamond Dave. Should I let him in? Yep, there we go.
Hey, Diamond Dave, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going. Figured I'd drop by for a bit. Might have to bounce and get food and then come back.
Ah, okay. What do you guys have for, like, takeout there? Do you guys have Burger King, McDonald's?
Oh God, no, not McDonald's. We do have Burger King and KFC, but like, you know, being in Asia, we have like bento boxes and actually like pre-made meals and stuff. So I'm gonna get like the wife some onigiri and some just like pre-made stuff. I went there earlier and they hadn't restocked it, so I got to go back.
Dude, that sounds pretty good. If
Yeah,
you
I went
guys
at like
have
5 in the morning.
if you guys have Burger King and not McDonald's, that's a country I can get down with. We've just got to bring you guys some Jesus.
I don't
Yeah,
know if I want to go
nobody wants that. That's for sure. Burger King and KFC taste very differently here than they do in the U.S.
I don't know if I could go out there to Mongolia just because they're probably missing out on the whole Chinese buffet thing. You know,
I bet they have
There's
the best
Chinese.
Mongolian beef.
I mean, there's Chinese restaurants here.
it was a joke. You guys are supposed to be laughing.
Well,
Oh.
I didn't get if it was a joke or not because I know American Chinese food is like a joke compared to Chinese food.
It's a good point.
Depends on the restaurant. Like if you're talking like Panda Express, that's kind of it's like a mix. It's kind of like Chinese street food in a way, kind
If
of.
you can get pizza and macaroni and cheese there, it's lost like that authentic Chinese feel.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Well, how's your guys' days been?
It's been
Been pretty good.
tribulation. Let's just put it that way. For the last few days, been tribulation, and I feel like I'm coming to the end of it. You know, usually when something like this happens to my life, the preceding days, God usually reveals something to me. So I'm curious to see what He has this time. But it 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 was difficult. I don't really want to get into details, but
Did you listen to that sermon I sent you by David Wilkerson, The Spoils of Spiritual Warfare?
I think I listened to part of it, and then something came up, and I had to leave. But
That was probably the enemy. I'm telling you, Rich, you've got to go back and listen to that. It'll change your life. You'll never see afflictions the same way again.
gonna look it up right now.
I've kind of got it taken out of me, guys. I just finished up that documentary, and it was taking up hours and hours every day. And now that I've released it, I just feel completely drained.
Well, you worked your butt off.
Achilles was supposed to be here with me to co-host, and I guess he got caught up on like real world events.
What's
Diamond Dave,
interesting?
how'd your day go?
My day's pretty good. I just like woke up at like midnight ish, so it's still kind of starting. I'm not gonna go to bed until like 3 or 4 p.m. my time.
You work night shift?
I mean, I own my own business, but well, I have multiple businesses. But you got to remember, like, I got my own channel, and most of my followers are back in the West. So, like, my sleep schedule's based around when they're awake. Otherwise, I wouldn't make any money if I'm like, you know, I can't get super chats from Americans at like 3 in the morning. You know,
Yeah, that's accurate. Man, I super chats. Huh. I'll tell you what, there are so many reasons why a small YouTube channel should want to monetize. And every time I look at that, because vidIQ gives you that, quote of what they think your channel would generate every month. And every
yeah,
month when I look at that, man, it gets harder and harder to not cave, but we just have a standard. But man, I get the appeal. Like even just the super
Look,
chats is worth it.
well, yeah. I mean, I can easily make over $100 in a live. And
That's
then like
insane.
with the channel memberships, I don't even know what I'm at, but like with gifted subs and channel members, like people who pay monthly. If I look at my memberships right now, I've got 41 channel members, and that's $155 a month right there, not including super chats or ad revenue.
How much do you charge? Like $3 a month, $4 a month?
I'd have to look. I've got multiple platforms, but I think the cheapest one is like $2.99. I can look that up right now, actually.
See, that's
Uh,
crazy, and that's how a lot of small ministry channels on YouTube are surviving. They're paying for the ministry costs by monetizing. But
Yep.
ask Rich here. Like, we pay out every month to do this.
Hey,
Yeah.
do you remember Dr. Hoven's 777 club idea that he got from R and Raw? There's
Oh
a
yeah,
6 club.
yeah.
Um, basically, trying to get everybody to donate $1 a day or something like that. Do you think we could do something similar? I mean, it is a ministry, and accepting donations. But I mean, the reason I don't agree with monetizing is because the forced deception and advertisement, and the tactics they use. A lot
Oh
of
yeah.
times in ministry and Christian channels, you get all the ads from the Mormon church and whatnot, which just doesn't really work. But
Or they'll put very sensuous ads that cause men to lust.
yeah,
That's when they'll start trying to sell you tampons and razors and feminine toilet paper. And for some reason, a woman in a bikini sells all of those items the best, I guess.
I wish there was a way you could go through and choose what kind of ads are actually said on your channel.
If it
Well,
wasn't
yeah,
for, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so yeah, the way around that is to like do something specific, because if you're a general ministry channel and your page is set up as a general ministry panel, you're going to get whatever ads, right? With a more targeted page, whether it's ministry or even like gaming, like all my ads are like game related. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there are ministries who do have like their tags set up and everything set up correctly, so the ads do correlate with the specific like denomination and um, even just the theme, right? Because it also goes off your videos.
Yeah, that was one thing Chat GPT told me that my channel suffered from. That we do too many things. Like, we do
Yes,
interviews, we do debates, but we also do our live streams, but we also do like documentary style film, shorts, and so it's just confusing the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't know where to send us.
exactly. So it's like forget monetizing. Like, yeah, like your YouTube doesn't know how to quantify your channel in the first place, so that's why people don't see it, because it
Yeah.
just doesn't know where to go with it.
You would
Uh,
think that it would pick at least one of the topics we've hit a lot and just run with that, even. Like, I think the
well,
way
yeah,
the algorithm works sucks.
the way the algorithm works makes sense because the algorithm is designed to keep people on YouTube, and so that's why like typically channels, especially like channels like mine, they they'll do long form videos about whatever, like a theme, but there'll be like long form videos and then shorts that are cut from that video to like funnel people in, right? And they do it in a specific genre, so that way the next channels that you see fall under the same thing, right? So if you go on my channel and kind of click around, watch a couple videos, you're going to start getting game recommendations, right? Like for video games. But with your channel, like you do live streams, you do interviews, you do shorts, you use AI thumbnails, and that's another thing the algorithm looks for is patterns, and it can't pick up like what direction your thumbnails are going, right? And so it just doesn't know how to market it to like as a recommended channel, because what do you recommend it under, right? You can recommend it under a variety of different genres, but since YouTube wants to keep people on YouTube, it's not going to recommend it because there are other channels that are better suited for long forms or lives or shorts in the same sphere. Even if it's Christian ministry, there are better channels out there that'll keep people in that Christian ministry circuit longer.
Rich, we just hit 4,400, bro.
Oh, nice, man. It was like 10 minutes ago. I saw it was like 4,300 or something, 43.9.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
mean, that's like what, 3 or 4 weeks after our 4,000.
yeah, yep, 400 in like a month.
Yeah. Now to answer your earlier questions, I got it pulled up. So I've got my memberships pulled up. So the cheapest is $2.99 a month. Then there's a $4.99 a month. There's a $9.99 a month, and then there's a $24.99 a month.
Now, those are just the cost of like being a part of your channel. So, do they get any extra content for that? What do they get for those price ranges?
Right. So if you get like the cheapest one, you get like everyone gets access to my Discord channel, to private Discord channel, members only videos, behind the scenes of my life here in Mongolia, right? Now the higher up you go, like for the most expensive one, the 24.99 a month, that means you get to sit down with me and we actually like plan out a video together. Or you have the option of like being in a Discord call with me and we just talk about like the area that I'm cleaning up, right? We talk about what I'm doing, you ask questions, we have a nice conversation, and you are hosted in the video. And then in my Discord channel, there are each of these like tiers have their own designated chat and their own designated voice chat, right? So everyone of all tiers can go in the lowest level and hang out, right? But if you're, if you're say the highest level and you want to talk to me privately, then you're going to go to that chat or that voice chat because I check that one more,
Does
right?
that
So
open you up to weirdos?
no,
You've never had a weirdo like message you that way?
never. Because I mean, and this is why, like, especially gamers where things can get toxic, the reason why we structure it this way is because if you have an open Discord to the public, anyone can join and anyone can chat. Here, you have to pay me, right? People don't pay $24.99 a month to troll. They don't. And here's the thing too, is let's say you pay $24.99 a month, you pay it for 1 month, and then you start trolling. I still ban you and I get to keep your money. Like the Discord does have rooms and the Discord does have rules and I do have moderators. But I can still ban you. Right? So people aren't going to waste money on that. Especially in like this economy. You know what I mean?
I don't know. There was a time where I could have seen some of my trolls paying to be able to troll me because I picked up a lot of haters from Kent Hovind, and they are some of the worst trolley trolls in the world.
Well, you're in a slightly different sphere because with Christian ministry, there's a lot of like overlap, and there's a real core fundamental difference in that, like with the gaming sphere, people are coming to hang out, to relax, to be entertained, right? But in like your sphere and your niche, there's like you guys evangelize and share the gospel, but then the trolls also call themselves Christians and also want to evangelize, right? So that dynamic of like just evangelizing, I think I'm pronouncing that right, just like evangelizing and debating, that doesn't exist in like more recreational forms of content creation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess that would make sense. I guess because we're in different arenas. It does suck that people see Christian YouTube channels as a place to like go combat or, just go poke fun or troll. But I guess some of that blame is on our shoulders because we've welcomed the combat a lot in many places. So yeah, I guess we're to blame, but it does suck that that's, what a lot of these channels are good for.
Well, yeah, and I mean, again, and you brought up what I'm talking about, but in a different way. Christian channels encourage open discussion and debate, right? Whereas if you come onto like my scene, I am the proverbial god of my channel, right? I will ban you if you cause problems, right? This is about my form of entertainment and like what I enjoy doing. If you don't like it, you can leave, right? I'm not, there's really nothing to combat or debate. Well, actually, I take that back. There's a ton to debate, right? And occasionally you get trolls in the comments, but you don't, like, they don't pay. And you just hide the users so nobody sees the comments again, right?
We have got American royalty in the room. We have Terry Russell CME.
Hi.
Terry,
Americans don't have royalty.
you finally updated your last name. You're Russell now.
Yeah.
What's the CME for? Because that's on Jamie's channel too.
Christian Middle Earth.
Ah, gotcha. I'm trying to get Rich to play nice with Jamie. I have to put them in a room and just make them talk about their theology and get it all out.
Oh, I didn't know they had problems.
I don't think they have problems. I think you guys just disagree, don't you, Rich?
I compliment that guy on his mustache so much. You know, he should be my best friend.
Yeah, he does.
The Tom Selleck.
No, I've got disagreements with just about everybody here except for you, Steven. So,
just give it time, Rich.
If you hang out with somebody long enough, you'll find a disagreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Terry, she's always hello liberals, so I'm always throwing, hello Republicans right back at her, but I still love her as my sister in Christ,
What?
What's good about Sister Terry is she is almost like an undercover operative for conservatives because she goes to all of these far left events around her, and like she is right up in these protests, filming and asking people questions, and she's able to sneak in and out because she has like the girly voice, and nobody's gonna mess with her, and so she's able to sneak in and sneak out and like get all this great footage for us.
I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not being an operative. It's a public event. I can show up and go there if I want to.
Yeah, but if you showed up in like Trump is your president t-shirt, asking people questions, you might have got some pushback.
Yeah, but I wouldn't wear something like that anyway.
Really?
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's weird.
I might though. I did like those Trump sneakers though, the gold ones. Those look pretty cool. I might wear something like that, but I'm not like. I'm very particular about what I wear. You know. My aesthetic isn't.
Would Jamie wear it?
He might. Yeah, he wears sometimes his. I got him a Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt. He wears sometimes.
Have you guys been to a Trump rally together?
I've never been to a Trump rally.
Are you serious?
I live in Portland, Oregon. Where am I going to go to a Trump rally at? They have him like way out there. I don't even think he comes to Oregon, really.
Man, in late 2015, early 2016, I went to a Trump rally in Roanoke, Virginia, and there were so many people in there. When they started chanting "Lock her up," the whole arena was vibrating. I'm so serious. Like, it was awesome but scary.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't really like really big events like that. I might go to it. It would depend on like what the accommodations were like.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably want to film it if I were there, I'd be probably filming.
I have some film from when I went.
Yeah, I mean, it would be something to see. I'm not trying to like when I go and film these things, I'm really not trying to own the libtards, Even if I disagree with them, I am just genuinely trying to document what's going on.
Keep that mindset. Wink, wink. You're doing a good job.
Thanks. I mean, I've had some people, and some of them do recognize me. It's not as if they don't know who I am. I have a history in this town. Before I was conservative, I was a radical feminist. So
bar fights and stuff.
But there's a really big contention between the radical feminists and the transgender community, and a lot of these people are very militant, so I have to worry about that. And then I have been seen fraternizing with the some of the right wingers that document too. So it's not as if it's I don't know. It's not without like risk. I've also got like people throwing things at other people and hitting me. So I don't want to get caught in the crossfires.
See, you can go in and out because, like, you just dress fashionable. Rich and I, we would never be able to get into those events because we look way too conservative. Diamond Dave could get right in.
I
He
don't
looks like
think
Willie Nelson's grandson.
I've
I
always
think
wanted
you're
to go
mistaken.
to a pro-life, or I'm sorry, a pro-abortion rally, and with the sign that says "legalize murder," just to see what would happen.
Oh, you were asking to get stoned, my friend.
I
Well,
Not
think you would stick out in one of those. Or even
Yeah.
smaller ones. I mean, people are most of the time people aren't even thinking about you, you know?
well,
That's
that's
the
conceited.
most people are very self-absorbed and they assume if you're there for the same reasons unless you're like openly being antagonistic. So
I'd be staring too much.
Yeah, that
you make
would be your problem. That's a dead giveaway.
Be like, holy moly, that girl's underarm hairs are rainbow colors. Like, I couldn't not stare.
oh my goodness.
you know what I thought was funny about those No Kings rallies? When King Charles and Queen Camilla came last month, none of those people showed up to any of their events. Those No Kings or Queen rallies, and it was just funny to me.
Yeah. For the same reason Gavin Newsom cleaned up the streets whenever the president of China was visiting. He got rid of all the homeless magically.
Good for him. Good for him.
I'm scared of what he did with the homeless folks.
They got pushed into Utah and other like surrounding
Yeah.
areas.
That's
They
a
didn't, like-
certain,
They
that's
really
a
move
certain
these people
death.
around a lot. I don't
No, well, no, it's not. Actually, Utah is one of the best places to be homeless because, like, if you think about that part of the world, the winters are pretty tame compared to other states.
But what about
Right,
the
but
summers?
Well, during the summers, I mean, there's like water everywhere. You know what I mean? And like they panhandle, and they go to gas stations and get drinks. Like they're not out in a desert. They're out in like Provo and Ogden, and like there are places for them to go. I was homeless in Minnesota, and I've seen people freeze to death many years ago because that's a death sentence. But like people like to think that Gavin Newsom and like even like red states where they like quickly clean up the homeless people. They like to think that they put them in camps or something. No, they just shuttle them out, dump them off somewhere, and then they wander on their own accord.
That is insane.
Yeah, they do. People will get free tickets to like come to different towns around here anyway. So people often come from places like Spokane or Seattle if they're offered, hey, you could go here and try to like do something here. There people get shuffled around all the time.
Yeah, it's free tickets. That happened to me once. So
Wow.
my case is a little bit of an oddball because it wasn't government, but I was homeless, and someone I knew like personally from high school was living out in like a small town called Tioga, Pennsylvania, right? And so long story short, I go out there because allegedly she got out of an abusive relationship. She's like, if you could find a job here, be a man, help me pay bills, you can stay here. And I'm like, okay, cool. I go out there, found out it was a lie, slept in a gazebo for a few days, and found out she was running with a bad crowd. And it was a few like local police officers, which, very small town. And they're like, we get it. You kind of got screwed, but you can't be hanging around her. Otherwise, we're going to assume you're a part of this. And I'm like, well, I made contact with some friends back in Minnesota at that time because I'm scrambling for like damage control. and I showed proof that I had a place to go. And then it was like a few local people just pitched in for a one-way Greyhound bus ticket and some snacks.
Oh
Right.
wow.
So that was out of the generosity of like a few people who were like who I met and were like really cool. But like in general, those kind of situations are more done on a state level for homeless people where it's tax dollars and they're like, okay, do you have somewhere to go? Here's a Greyhound ticket, get lost, kind of a thing. So
Hmm. Rich, does that sound like a life to you?
Sure. Well, I don't know. I was on and off the streets for about 4 years, man, and um, when I realized that it seemed like a majority of them were it was just because of laziness. Nobody wanted to work. Um, there was alcoholism and drug abuse. I mean, I met a guy who told me he wanted to live on the streets just because he didn't want to pay taxes. I'm like, well, whatever you want to do. But I knew people who, traveled from or migrated from Colorado down to Flagstaff, Arizona, during the winter time and just went back and
yeah,
forth. They just wanted to live, a free life and, didn't want to work for the man, I guess, spend
it
their life.
works. It works in my experience. So the laziness in my experience comes from like human beings being broken, right? Because if you look at the younger homeless people, like I was in my 20s, like we all were trying to find jobs. And yeah, we were struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, but like we actually wanted to get on our feet, right? I've lost track of how many people in their 40s and 50s and 60s who tried literally for years, if not a decade or more, to like find a place to live. No one would take them because they didn't have a job. They were looking for jobs. No one would take them because they didn't have a home address. Right. So it's like a catch 22. You can't get a job if you don't have a place to live. And
Yeah.
you can't have a place to live if you don't have a job. Right. And so after 5, 10, even 15, 20 years of trying, they just gave up. I mean, why keep trying? You know?
Here's what I think we ought to do. We always have these great big government bailouts, and we give it to corporations, and the corporations, in some cases, don't even save their businesses. They just write their CEOs fat bonuses. I say we do like one great, you know, program and give some money to these homeless communities and
Oh,
see who
well,
gets out of homelessness, and
well,
whoever goes
okay.
back into homelessness, we know that those are the ones with a real sickness that need to be dealt with.
I want to find a video where they talk about it. So, California has, I mean, it was a few years ago I heard this number. It could even be more money, but they have a 1 billion with a B dollar a year um, thing that they get from the federal government to help the homeless situation. And there are people talking about it where they're putting the money in their pocket, the corrupt government. So they have absolutely no incentive to get rid of the homeless population because they're taking advantage of the system and getting wealthy off of it. So,
Yep.
and that trickles down to, you know, all the drugs going on the streets and keeping people out there because the bigger the homeless population, the more money that they get to put into their own pockets. I mean,
Exactly.
I can pull up a couple videos. I don't know if we want to go down that route and actually share some 5-minute clips from it, but
But I mean,
um,
like, seriously, all the money we give away to the corporations, it would, in my layman estimation, it would be a lot cheaper to just give a percentage of the homeless people like first and last rent deposits, but don't give them the money. Like, let them pick out the place where they want and then pay their first and last to get them in so they can get a job and see if they can last. See if they really did fall on hard times and they never were able to get a hand up, or find out if they're just not wanting to work. It's going to save us in the long run.
It will save you in the long run, but like he was saying, the like people don't want to do that because the amount of funding they get in the billions of dollars is going to go down if they like clean up homelessness.
I I found a 5-minute video of Elon Musk talking about it on Joe Rogan. If you guys want to watch it,
What the?
I don't know if we can or if they'll
That's
ding
good.
us for that.
Oh, they will. They will. Joe Rogan. That's a
Like-
copyright strike.
Don't play it, Rich. Yeah.
Yeah. Do not do that.
Yeah. And FYI, don't play anything from Mark Lowry either. He's a jerk.
yeah, I've heard that. You say that before. Well, you don't actually. This is well, it's still a Joe Rogan clip. It's from somebody else's channel, but yeah,
Don't do that, because you can. So like as YouTubers, like there are some things that are fair use, but the thing about that is other clips you have to like pay for the audio rights to, and that's like in the background of monetized channels. Like there's a whole thing I have access to where I can use music from anybody. However, if
we're
it's
not on this
licensed,
channel.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, so basically you're not a monetized channel, which means they just delete your channel if you play that.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to explain is like why people are able to do that is there's like a section for monetized channels only where you can pay for the licenses to specific audio that's uploaded. And that includes like clips from other people's channels.
What if I pulled up like a Rumble channel or something like that with the same type of it wouldn't matter or what?
I honestly don't know about Rumble. I would be very careful either way, because I don't know what Rumble is, so I don't know. If I were in your position, I wouldn't risk it.
It's a streaming service. Rumble.
Did you have
You-
it
no,
looked like you were raising your hand, Terry.
What? No, I was waving hi to Lena in the chat.
Oh, Lena's my favorite Catholic.
Your favorite Catholic is Lena?
Well,
Lena,
it's
are you
between
coming on board?
It's between Lena and Eastern Thomist. I get so happy when that guy shows up and we're talking to Mormons.
Oh, yeah. He loves apologetics. He goes nuts.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes obviously he goes too far off into the Catholic weeds, and I want to be like, okay, I just needed your wealth of information on the early church fathers.
I like when he gets really like long-winded about one of his points. And then anytime somebody tries to interrupt him, he's like, "Oh, sorry," and then he just continues.
Yeah.
He's good. He's funny.
Yeah.
Hey,
But he
Jamie.
is a good one. He's got a good heart. How is Jamie doing?
How are you?
Was it a heart attack?
No, we don't know exactly what it was. They ran a bunch of tests, but we don't really have any information about what happened exactly.
Well, the crazy thing is like for the past week, my wife and I have been fighting off a sickness, and both of our hearts have been hurting.
Oh, whoa. Do you think it's that, what is it, that new virus? The rat virus?
If they couldn't take me out with the big C, they're not taking me out with this one.
Okay.
The memes about it are hilarious, though. I'm seeing a bunch of people refusing to die to the new hentai virus.
Oh, man, that's the new word that's going to get channels banned and shut down.
Hentai is, well, I'm not going to say.
Yeah, it's a Japanese art form, and we'll leave it at that.
But...
Okay.
I gotta go look it up.
Don't do that. Theories of creation.
Please.
That's not it's not anything you want to be Googling.
Let's change the subject. Hey, Jamie.
It's the big C.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like back to the general YouTube thing we were talking about. Like, yeah, and I mean you can make a decent amount of money off of monetized channel. I don't know. See, here's the thing. I agree with theories, right? Where it's like I do think you should be making money because you're a ministry and accepting donations. But if you don't want to be monetized, there's like other ways to go about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, we have some ways already, like where do we go? Like we have this one where people can donate, but nobody ever has. So like when we do get donations, it's rare and it's a great blessing. But should probably figure out something to overcome the lack of monetizing.
Yeah, and this is how small churches die, honestly, and this is how small ministries die, right? Well-intentioned people, um, they don't want to be monetized by YouTube, and that's fine, but they don't have any other like actual systems in place to accept donations, and they don't really have the base of people um, to donate, right? And that's what kills the ministry, is just a lack of funding.
They can't kill us, Diamond Dave. We're already dead to this world.
Oh, apparently your income is dead as well. So
Not dead.
Well,
I got
what you saying,
it.
though?
I mean, we pass around the hat and we make our monthly bill for StreamYard every month, but yeah, I mean, there's times where it's been a struggle.
Well, every disciple of Jesus Christ have their own trade aside from following Christ. So
Yeah,
Hello, is there club balls?
that is the Cloud Balls.
It is the Claudia, yes. By the way, it's the hentai. It's the henta virus, not the
Yes.
hentai one. The hentai one is, well, as
Yeah,
has
that's
been
a
hinted at, is probably shouldn't go into.
Claude, since you said the keyword, do not go report this episode.
I won't be. But hentai is acceptable. It's just a Japanese thing.
Anyways.
Claude, did you really come on just to tell us that? Or did you have something else on your heart?
No.
Yeah, do you need prayer, Claude?
Do I need what? Terrapod?
Prayer. Do you need prayer?
Prayer pods? No.
Prayer.
From my observation, prayer doesn't always work.
No, prayer always works.
I'm gonna agree with Claude. Prayer does not always work.
Prayer always works, just not the way you think it will.
Oh, there we go.
That's very true. And
It's kind of a
sometimes
I would say, can I just
Darling
jump
with
in?
the soul.
It sounds like a cop out in many cases, right? I mean,
Hmm.
for example, right, millions upon millions of Christians are praying for people to convert. Those people that they pray for die and don't convert. So the question is, how did the prayer work, but not the way you expected?
So the way I would see it is I think prayer works in the way of somebody bending God's ear on someone else's behalf. And as a result of that, God putting even more opportunities in the individual's life who is getting the prayer. In this case, you said for salvation, God's going to give them more promptings. You know, I'm sure I had 1,000 more promptings than I probably would have had then if my grandmother had not been constantly praying for all of us grandkids to be saved.
Aw.
What would you define as a prompting?
I would say a prompting would be still having enough connection with the Holy Spirit to know when you're doing something wrong, or to have it still put on your heart to do something kind, like buy someone a meal when you see them outside McDonald's, kind of thing.
And kisses.
Interesting.
It could even be a near-death experience. It could be a car accident that you should not have lived through, but God allowed you to live through it because it got you thinking and you got serious about your life.
What if the other person dies?
That happens all the time
Then they get to go be with Jesus sooner, duh.
if they're saved.
You see, so it's just a wonderful get out of jail free card, isn't it? It's
Yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
I'm
Well,
sorry
if
that
you
you
look,
guys don't like how awesome and easy everything is.
I mean, you wouldn't think it was so easy if you looked at the history of Christianity. We've had quite a few bumps in the road.
Well, I might disagree with that point too, just because it's like, define bumps in the road. Like, if you're talking about the Catholic Inquisition, I think, was it the second commandment, thou shalt not take the Lord's name in vain, right? So my interpretation, my understanding of that is, do not do evil in my name. right? And since the Inquisition resulted in the death, torture, and rape of non-Christians, I can't see anywhere in the Bible where that would be justified as Christian behavior, and therefore would argue that those who engaged in such inquisitions were not actually Christian.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But I'm not Catholic. I mean, I don't have to defend every bad thing the Catholic Church has ever done. And there certainly is a lot of it. And a lot of it done to my people, Protestants.
Yep.
But no, when I say bumps in the roads, I mean like, you know, shortly after the time of Jesus, when they're trying to get us to forsake him and they're feeding our families to lions and, you know, putting us on crosses and lighting us on fire kind of thing. Like, during those times in our history, it was certainly not easy to be a Christian.
Sure. Although I like to study Roman history, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know how much. I mean, some of it's anti-Christian, but some of it is also Nero and Caligula just being insane, right? Like, Caligula also did a lot against Christians. However, he ordered an entire Roman legion to stab the ocean because he declared war on Poseidon and made his favorite horse a proconsul, which is like a president.
You know what's crazy about that,
he
though?
did that to stick it to those uppity senators that are all like, no, you got to listen to us. And he's like, I don't got to listen to you. I'm going to listen to my horse over you, you bunch of nerds.
Yeah, and he worshipped his horse, so it's like he's not. People like that aren't the most sane of like personalities.
Caligula would whip.
Well, what's interesting is at that time, you know, being crazy was sometimes associated with being demon possessed. So if Nero was, you know, crazy, then especially at that time in history, it's quite possible he was also demon possessed, which would explain why out of his craziness, he's setting Christians on fire.
Yeah, you do have to be kind of crazy to either crazy or very upset, which is why I do acknowledge that there is like an anti-Christian element there. Like, you have to really hate someone to like set them on fire.
Yeah.
He's going to talk about eternal conscious torment.
I think it's going to be that bad and worse here for the tribulation, which is coming.
Oh, no.
Terry, did you say Jamie's going to be talking about eternal torment?
Eternal conscious torment.
Tonight? Is that why he doesn't talk to me anymore?
He said it would be hateful to set someone on fire. And I was like, that's what Jamie says about the idea of hell and eternal conscious torment.
But is that why Jamie doesn't talk to me anymore? I feel like I lost a friend.
He doesn't.
Where did I go wrong? I lost a friend.
Hey, Steven, real quick, who sings that song?
That is... Who does sing that song?
I've heard it before. I just
life.
don't...
It's is it the Fray?
No. Oh, it is the Fray. Yeah, I think it's the Fray.
All right, cool. Let's keep it that way.
Oh, you could have just saved time by telling me I'm a bad singer, and I already knew that.
I mean, I could, but I'm kind of multitasking right now.
I get a lot of requests, but I sing anyway.
You sing anyways.
Yeah.
Oh no, not another dreadful Hoven joke.
Yeah, you got it too. I'm surprised Claude knows where that joke came from.
I've heard that so many times.
Claude, you
must
can
have been a
probably
troll
tell
for a long time then, bro.
Oh, he can probably tell all of Doc's jokes better than Doc can. Like, no lie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I sing anyway. Oh, sing on a hill far away. Oh my God, you know, they're all there. In fact, you know the Hitler memes. You know that those where they have memes on YouTube where Hitler is ranting. Do you know?
Oh
that?
Yeah, those are.
I'd
funny.
love to put Hoven's sayings to some of that. You know. Dogs only produce dogs.
Interesting.
I mean, it would fit, but I feel like, I don't know, Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, they also have that personality too. It would fit. It would fit. You can't deny that. I mean, I am not a Christian, but we both cannot deny that there's some atheists out there who would like also fit that.
Oh, yes, they could. Yes, yeah.
Well, from what I've heard, Hitler wasn't always screaming and pounding on the podium. Like, I heard he was also very charismatic, according to
Oh no,
the
he was
Germans.
always screaming. He was always screaming and pounding on things. Like that's how he literally got started. Was he was a spy for the German army, and he was spying on the right, like a white right wing, like beer hall meeting, basically. And instead of like disagreeing with it or spying, he actually like resonated with him, and then he immediately jumps on a table and just interrupts the person speaking, goes off on a tirade. And that's how Dietrich Eckart, the founder of the Tula Society, that's where they met, and it was Dietrich Eckart that helped push him toward the person that he became. So yeah, he even started out like screaming and pounding on tables.
So he started off the same way Steven Anderson did. That's interesting.
I mean, well, it works. 1930s Germany, the economy is trash. Like, there are so many dissatisfied soldiers.
Feminists, Jews, and homos acting crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Countries overrun with foreigners.
Tommy McMurtry made a video about Steven Anderson called Man of God, and there's a clip of you in there.
I watched it. I was a little sad because he wrote me when he was making it to get my permission to use some clips. And I really thought he was going to use like a clip of me asking Isaac a question, but he didn't. And that was cool. I got my channel advertised on his documentary against Steven Anderson. So that's a badge of honor for me.
Yeah, I think he used a clip of you interviewing him. It just was a clip of him talking.
Yeah, which is cool. I know how it goes. I just had to go through that process with this Ron Wyatt documentary, which Claude has not complimented on yet.
Yeah, yes, well, or commented for that matter. But my feelings about Ron, and we're probably never going to agree. I feel that it is just too much of a coincidence that he's discovered all these major artifacts, and that there's that the evidence for them seems to have disappeared or not to be available for public scrutiny, So there we go.
I mean, that's the weird thing.
I'm sorry, who are we talking about right now?
Ron Wyatt. He's the gentleman who found Noah's Ark and the Red Sea crossing. And
I do not buy that.
I do not buy the Covenant.
I don't buy that for a second. I don't buy that for a second. This guy screams to me Mark Hoffman, which
you guys have got to go watch the documentary first. I'm telling you, it'll change your view on him.
Yeah, even Rob believes that he believes.
But there's another documentary done before yours, Stephen, from a skeptical point of view, and it just challenges everything that he said and the devices he was using to scan the ground and all those sorts of things.
But the crazy thing is,
if you've seen it, you should watch it. Yeah.
Well, they just had that group. It's called the Noah's Ark Scans Group, and they're associated with Ron Wyatt's research. And they've just done the most recent scans of the Ark, and they're getting incredible information back that counters the studies that were done by your side in the 1960s.
No, they haven't given the final result yet. I'll eat my hat if that turns out to be the actual Ark.
Well, you did see it. You saw it, didn't you, Claude?
If you don't think the Sinai evidence is obviously what the writers of the Bible were talking about, then you're just a retard. You don't understand it.
Whoa, Jimmy.
Literally.
He's the hard R.
Like even if the stories aren't like there's no God involved, but if you actually understand what's said in the text and then like the geography of what has been located and the other findings that have come up there that Ron White didn't even find, and you still deny that that's the area that the text is talking about, you just don't understand the text, what it says. I mean, it's clearly
Claude.
It's clearly the region of which the Bible's talking about.
Well, what's interesting is I hear this claim all the time that none of his research was accessible or the artifacts, but I've called Mary Nell as a stranger, and she invited me to her home in Tennessee, and I got to examine all of the artifacts. And then I went back with my wife, so my wife could examine the artifacts. Like, they have been the most accessible people in the history of the world when it comes to this sort of thing. And still the claim is made that they're just not accessible, that no one can review their research or review their artifact. I have, and I'm a nobody.
Well, I mean, that's the point in a way, and so am I. But a real anthropologist, a real archaeologist, no, they can't get anywhere near it when Ron was around anyway. So I suggest it's too late now for that sort of thing. The man has invented more stuff, even answers in Genesis, which would believe just about anything, rejects his findings. Even that.
Well, that's because Ken Ham is a joke, and he's an insult to apologists. That's number one. I would say, too, you're not giving Ron a fair shake. And you say that he faked so much of his discoveries, but like with Mount Sinai, there is overwhelming evidence for the site that he claimed to be Mount Sinai, which was connected to the Red Sea crossing. And most of the evidence came about after he died. And even the Saudi government is acknowledging it. They're building a tourist center, just like they did in Turkey for the Noah's Ark site. And they're going to be giving guided tours of Mount Sinai, Jebel El Lawz. So I just don't understand, like, at what point is it enough evidence?
So for me, it's not so much, it's like, I've heard about these things, and there's, for me, a ton of red flags, right? Like this comes off as a Mark Hoffman thing. But also, like, when it comes to Saudi Arabia, like, Saudi Arabia is shifting from oil to tourism. So it does not surprise me that a person says this is a holy site, and then someone in the Saudi Arabian government's just going, we can make a ton of money off of people who believe this, right? I mean, that type of tourism is very common even here in Mongolia. And that's why there are some tourist scams just all throughout Asia in general, because some Asian person's going to be like, this was a really sacred site, and there's all these cool things that happened here 4,000 years ago. Americans are paying stupid amounts of money to go to Cambodia to see an empty field, getting ripped off along the way, right? So, I don't know.
Hey, my church has a mission in Cambodia.
Cool.
They go there. People go there every year. I'm not going, but more power to them.
The thing is we would have to say Ron did it as a fraud, but he didn't die wealthy. He died very low, financially, and he didn't build a cult following. He didn't build a, theme park or an art exhibit. Like, he didn't benefit in any way other than getting ridiculed and getting mocked and having all of his research thrown out the window and told that he's not credible because he wasn't a trained archaeologist. Like, what would he have gained? He didn't die popular. Yeah. He didn't die rich.
Yeah, you know what, Claude? You're committing that logical fallacy and appeal to authority. That's you.
Well, and to be fair,
you're the one.
Sorry.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Joseph Smith didn't have a cult following. In fact, it almost collapsed, right? So Joseph Smith didn't have a cult following. Joseph Smith died dirt poor because the Zion's bank collapsed, right? So, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I'm willing. I can't speak for Claude, but like Stephen, I'm willing to consider your point. My only take with those points are I can apply it to Joseph Smith. You know what I mean? I could take these to like other cult leaders who end up getting some type of fame or reference after their death, right? Because, I mean, Joseph Smith's life was just hell all the way down. So I don't know if the whole, he died poor and was ridiculed argument holds weight.
Well, except I'd point out the major differences between Ron Wyatt and Joseph Smith, and that is that Joseph Smith started his own weird, bizarre offshoot of the Christian faith. Ron Wyatt never did that. You know, Ron Wyatt never claimed to get any special revelation about how we're supposed to worship or follow God. He never received
Sure.
any, you know, angels telling him some new doctrine or to translate tablets, nothing like that.
Sure. So I mean, there's key differences in the players and what's involved, but I mean the end outcome is the same.
What?
You know what I mean?
Not
No,
really,
it's
because Ron Wyatt would work and save money for 3 or 4 years. And then when he finally had enough money, he went over there. One time in Saudi Arabia, he got arrested and accused of being a spy. And then another time, he got kidnapped in Turkey by Kurdish rebels, and he was held hostage for 28 days. And the following summer, he went back. And like, he didn't benefit a crazy amount of money off of this. Like, he paid out of his pocket, and all he gained out of it was ridicule.
Yeah, but
Listen.
people don't always want money; they want fame.
Yeah.
listen.
But he died being a joke, like to the
Well,
media
it's
and to
because
people
it's
like you.
Accurate. Yeah.
So he didn't achieve that, Claude, did he?
No, you don't always achieve what you know. I mean, there are some people that are in the world that are sensible and apply sensible criticism to these things. You know, so yeah, it didn't work, but there are plenty of people that do believe him.
Yeah.
and the important thing is, did he believe what he was doing?
Not sure. That's a difficult question.
Well, yeah,
So-
that's hard to tell because Joseph Smith believed what he was doing, right?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you just get invested in things.
Yeah. Well, we know, at least when it comes to the example of Joseph Smith, we do know because we have journals from Joseph Smith, his brother Hiram, Brigham Young, right? So we do have a fair idea that he knew what he was doing and he knew what would happen, but he did it anyway. So, and that's where I get on the Exmo podcast in this example, and I kind of take a bit of a controversial view because a lot of people who have been hurt by the church think he intended to be a con man. I believe that he had legitimate experience, like spiritual experiences as like someone who did try to deceive others. I do believe that two things could be true at once. You can like look at the Apostle Paul, terrible human being killing Christians, but he had a spiritual experience, right? Difference is the Apostle Paul wrote the New Testament and like got that going.
Some of it.
Yeah, some of it. But like Joseph Smith, I believe he did have legitimate experiences and he did legitimately believe in what he was doing to the point where he was willing to go across the country to avoid it and to try and establish his own thing.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
So I mean, same with Juan Riot. I have no doubt this guy legitimately believed like he found these things. The question I have is, are these actually these things? And if so, like, why should we care? Right. So I'm not willing to throw him under the bus completely and call him a fraud. I'm just very suspicious about anyone and anything who basically makes such grandiose claims, right? I'm open to being wrong and I'm open to fully admitting if that's what it is. I'm very suspicious.
I am surprised to hear you say that you believe Joseph Smith was sincere and believed all of his garbage because you've watched Bill's channel for so long, and
Yes.
Bill's like very precise about laying out the case that he was just always a shuckster, like that there was never sincerity in it.
And this goes back to two things being true at once, right? I mean, con men can have legitimate spiritual experiences. And we may have talked about this, I don't know, on this podcast, but on other podcasts I've been on, where Angel Moroni, did he make that up or was that actually a demon, right? I think it might have been this podcast with DCTV. It's like, was the Angel Moroni made up or was it a demon? What, right? Did he create this by himself to create his own religion, or Could there have been some type of demonic influence because he was involved in folk magic? He was involved in Freemasonry. These things are indisputable. He was involved in Solomonic magic, the magic of like King Solomon, like
Oh no, he was doing the lesser keys of Solomon.
yeah. There's
Invoke demons. And
yeah. So like his family did that. Hiram did that, and Bill Reel even talks about that. Bill Reel also brought up the fact that he was educated. He wasn't this, he didn't grow up as a poor farm boy. His brother was educated, his father was educated, he was educated by proxy, right? So the question is it's not an either or, it's a how much for me. How much was he a con man, right? I mean, we could look at King Solomon. King Solomon's a perfect example of a man who had power and let it go to his head, right? So at what point does this con man, who I believe is having legitimate spiritual experiences because he invoked the occult, at what point did he just let it get to his head and then go insane and just everything crashes and burns? Because you see that with cult leaders too, and people who join cults. They have legitimate spiritual experiences. Nobody joined Jim Jones or David Koresh, right? Nobody joined them just because they felt like it, right? I watched a documentary on the survivors of Waco, right? And there's one guy, right? I think his name is David Archibald, I believe. I mean, he thinks the government was in the wrong, and he still believes the words of David Koresh to this day because he had a profound spiritual experience.
I have to point out the other obvious differences between Joseph Smith and Ron Wyatt, though. Like Joseph Smith is a PDF file who's trying to marry everybody's minor daughter. Ron Wyatt has no history of that.
That we know of, sure.
and Joseph Smith was caught lying like a lot, even about drinking. After he had the revelation about drinking, he was caught drinking with a married woman in the morning. Like Bill went over that too. Like Ron doesn't have that pattern of, crossed people claiming that he's taken money. Like, okay, so
he doesn't have that yet. Remember, all that came out after Joseph Smith had died.
No, he's been gone since the 90s. It would have flooded out already as much as they hate him.
Okay. All right. I can consider that. Sure.
And even accept this, Claude, like you and I disagree on a lot of facts about what happened with Kent Hovind, but from the evidence that's out there, you could paint a good picture that Kent Hovind is a fraud. I could paint a picture that tries to tear that argument apart. But you could do that with the information that's out there about Kent Hovind. That information doesn't exist for Ron.
Yeah, I don't say he's a horrible, maybe he's deluded. I don't know what's behind it, but I don't see the evidence for his claims. I could treat him differently to Kent. Yes, I could.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And this goes back to, what I was saying earlier. I believe Ron believes he found it, right? I believe he believes it. The question is it actually it, right? And we can have even like the same principle for we've had this discussion on the same principle, all right? Because we talk about like my spiritual experiences. You believe, I believe I'm talking
rain down in a region what the Bible describes as where Sodom and Gomorrah was. He just found ancient petroglyphs in the region where you would expect to find them that would describe the situations described in the Bible. You don't make that. You don't fake that. He just found it by following where the Bible said it would be. So, I mean, he did find the things he found. He did find the only place where what the Bible describes where people could cross would have crossed just as the Bible describes it. With the wells that are described in the Bible on the other side, and petroglyphs that are Egyptian-like, where they would have been worshiping a cow, with the Bible at the cave on it, just like the Bible described.
What about that rock of Horeb?
The rock of Horeb then gets found after he's there, when people are like, hey, that looks like the biblical site. Other people went there. Oh, what do you know? Other major landmarkers are there, too, that he didn't even know were there in the same region by searching it out. You know, it's like you can't find sulfur balls, millions of balls of pure sulfur that make no sense being in that region, how they are, and then you find geography that looks like cities that were destroyed by extreme heat. I just don't like.
Rest in peace.
It's to compare that to what Joseph Smith did as a con man is. I mean, it's not. It's like a category there.
Jamie's not.
Yeah, I mean, well, Mormons claim
It's
they found
interesting.
things too, so, and
The
I don't
point-
trust them either.
Most support Steve. Watch his documentary that he worked so hard on, guys. Dang.
Yeah, that's a great plug, Terry. Thank you so much. You guys can definitely go watch the 56-minute, 57-minute Ron Wyatt documentary. And you may not walk away, like I doubt you'll walk away saying, oh man, he was 100% right. But I do think I paint a very clear picture of who he was as a person, and you'll know, okay, there's no way this guy was purposefully trying to defraud people.
What is Diamond Dave's spiritual experiences? I want to hear this.
Too many to list. Too many to list. I mean, I do everything from commune with ancestors. I do astral projection. I've done blood rituals, pranayama, which is a form of deep meditation. I do yoga. I mean, you name it. Spirit work, energy work, things of that nature.
I think I heard from one of our hosts that you had tarot cards behind you.
That's actually true. Yeah, most of them are my wife's, actually. We don't have enough space in the office, so most of them are my wife's. I'll use them on occasion.
Well, just so you know, ever since that was brought to my attention, I've never brought it up, but every time I see them behind you laying on the table, I pray a hedge of protection for you and for God to give you another little nudge.
Oh. Okay. I mean, that's cool, I guess.
Oh, what? I just threw away 80 pounds of tarot cards.
Was it 80 pounds?
Yeah.
80 pounds?
I
Holy
used to
moly,
be
you weighed it?
Reader, you know that.
Why was it still in your house, Terry?
Because I'm a cripple and like I got counseling about it. My pastor was like, oh well, we'll help you. And he's like, but don't be like all like, frantic about it. But Jamie was, when he came into my life, he was the one who helped me get rid of them all. The thing is, somebody I could really trust to do it too, because like the thing is, some friends I have that would maybe help me with it, I worried about them like taking the cards. Or wanting to like, use them or something, even if it was for art. And I wanted to make sure they were disposed of properly.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, my wife uses them more than I do. I don't need it. I've been able to see spirits since I was like 3 and talk with them. So it's mainly like if people want a reading and pay for it, although that's not common. They usually go to my wife because I don't speak Mongolian. So I need to hit this.
Do you do that Mongolian throat singing thing they can do?
I would love to learn how to do that, but no. One of my favorite songs is Golingo.
Oh.
Right, and it's a love song, but it's also kind of like, it's a depressing love song. It's like Love Lost, basically, and it's got like a world famous singer in it. I think her name is Nene. That she does it. That's her like YouTube channel. But Golingo is really good. It's a mix of her like singing and then like Mongolian throat singing.
Claude, why did you change your avatar?
Because I'm traveling at the moment, and the computer that I had my original avatar on is not here with me. I'm using a little laptop, and for some reason it didn't, when I logged in, it didn't show my old avatar. So for this, I have to use the new avatar.
This little Frenchman. Oh man.
So I found the name. You can look at it at your own time sometime. But Holy Kool-Aid, and that's spelled K with a K, not Kool-Aid like it should be spelled with a C. Holy Kool-Aid channel has done a thing, quite a comprehensive thing on Ron's investigations. But just have a look at it at some stage. Yeah.
I'll take a look at it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't even mind having an open live discussion with them, because out of a lot of people on YouTube, I would consider myself one of the authorities for our side.
Yeah. So just at some stage at your leisure, take a look. I think I clipped it a couple of times, but that was a long time ago. It's about 10 or 11 months old. He's got one about Noah's Ark in general, and the other he's got about Ron's claims of his discoveries in general too. So anyway, worth a look. Yeah, so what else has been happening? I understand that Kent is driving off to see his wife's mother is ill, so they're on their way somewhere. So I don't know.
I
wish
have
her
no
all the
idea.
best.
Is Kent Hovind married?
Well, this is the thing. He's not outright said it, but he's, as of about a month ago, he did say he'd driven up to somewhere in Indiana and to pick up a woman, her mother who had dementia, and her daughter. So that's like 3 generations. And then from that point, he was wearing a wedding ring again. And then he introduced a lady called Cheryl and saying how she was a good singer, which she was. And he showed this poster of this woman, 30 years ago, which is, and so you sort of knew something was up, but he hasn't outright said it. But he did say apparently on his latest show that he's driving up with his wife so the mother mustn't have been able to stay there. She might have required care, I would think, if she had dementia. So they're visiting. So he said he's married, but he hasn't said to who. Yeah.
As you know, I'm on the outs with Dr. Hovind, so I no longer have the who's who information.
Oh no! Oh, I wish you
Rich, you're still very close with Doc. Have you heard anything about this wife situation?
Claude, if you want to support our ministry with $100, I'll tell you exactly.
Oh, Claude, I'll make it.
Dude, dude, I've been trying to help you guys get monetized for the longest time. I love the hard sell. Just go for it.
Oh my goodness!
Just like you
want, nice one, Rich.
Maybe that's how you should like promote the documentary. Be like, yeah, we have all this evidence for $99.99. You too can enjoy the knowledge that we have.
Yes,
we just don't feel like
truth about Claude Balls for $100. I'll reveal that truth, and just say something so obvious that everybody knows anyway.
Claude, you better act fast, because if he is married, you blew it. It could have been yours.
Well, I do think he is, and I'm pretty sure we know who it is, but he just hasn't sort of said it outright, I suppose. I can sort of understand that.
Well, I can too, because I know from experience that anytime anyone around Kent Hovind gets married, a certain ex of Kent Hovind's likes to reach out to everyone on that poor woman's friends list. She's done this to my wife, and she just has a way of crashing parties. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sounds like jealousy to me.
Oh, it is. But I mean, Doc wasn't perfect in all of the ways that he acted at the end of that situation either. But she definitely lost touch with reality, like without a doubt.
Which one are we talking about? Is that the third one?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
No, yeah. The fourth one is remarried already.
Really?
Got remarried? Nice. Good for her.
Sandra is remarried, and as you probably know, she was already kind of being unfaithful while they were married. Yeah,
really?
There was some photos that were intercepted that she was sending a chaplain, apparently.
Wow. I mean, the only good thing is that it does show that they're human and they want to bonk just like the rest of us do,
Well, okay.
Yeah.
That is not what I would have taken from that, but okay. All right. But yeah, so I mean, there was already adultery, so he had legal grounds, biblically, for divorcing, and she's already remarried, so I guess the ball would be in his court.
Well, the balls are in his court, I suppose, if you want to say that too. Oh, the
Waka
club balls.
waka. Wow.
Club balls.
On a Christian channel, really, dude?
Yeah, but I'm
really?
saying it in a way it's not, it's not overt. You have to interpret it.
Uh-huh.
I think that's
I
acceptable.
don't trust anybody, dude. You should know that about right now. I don't trust Ron Wyatt. I don't trust your intentions with that.
That's
show.
all right.
I don't trust nobody, dude. Like,
I know not to push it too far. Yeah,
I know.
My point with the documentary was not to convince you guys that he was right. It was to show you that he is not like other people that you guys may have in your head when you think of, Shucksters and Frosters. Ron Wyatt
that
didn't
just
meet
makes
that
me
bill at
more
all.
suspicious. Had you just told me there's this documentary, I'd be like, oh, that sounds cool. Like, I like studying history. That sounds cool. But then you made this whole big tirade of, he's not a con man. He's not this. He's not that. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Well, he's made the evidence videos before. Robin's birthday's coming up.
What?
Happy birthday.
29, right? I guess not. 28?
What?
I hope it's not
Birthday's on
27.
the night.
Oh.
Whose birthday was this?
Terry. Terry's going to be 30
wow.
years old.
That's good.
Isn't it Robin's birthday coming up?
Robin's birthday stream is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to be there for that.
Has
My
she
birthday
got a big one or a small birthday? Or
I didn't ask because here in the South, we were
You don't
raised
ask,
that
yeah.
you don't ask.
Yeah. Like I always think if it's a round figure on the end, then I call that a big birth, 30, 40, 50, 60 is the big birthday. Yeah.
I was going to announce it tomorrow, but I guess I'll tell you guys now. Jamie was selected for our mod of the month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, victory dance.
Well, there's no chance of me being that because I'm not a mod.
How much money you got? How much money you got, Claude?
Oh my God, here we go. Very
Just
good,
send Rich $100 so
Rich
you can
by
talk
name.
about Doc's marriage.
The donation.
Rich
Oh, so
by
that's
name.
that's how you get the mod of the month. That's how you get your donations. You just have the mods pay to be mod of the month.
Well, actually, that doesn't work. I've supported this ministry. I've paid for Restream and even EV Mux, and I still haven't got mod of the month. How does that work?
I'm never gonna get mod of the month, and I'm okay with that. Oh, that's
Are you a mod on the show? Oh, that's cool.
yeah. I got made a mod on the show for some reason, and I'm fine with that. That's cool, right?
It's because you never come on here cussing, and I appreciate that you don't come on here just to mock Christianity, but you have real questions. You like hanging out. I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's like we're gonna disagree on things, but it's like I'm open to considering other things, which many people just aren't. And the reality is, if you want to survive as a panelist, right? Because I'm on like ex-Mormon panels and I'm on other panels. Like, if you want to survive as a panelist on YouTube in general, you have to have like a thick skin and be willing to interact with people who disagree with you, right? I went on there's a Christian conservative podcast in America called ARP, A Righteous Perspective. And I mean, like, I went on there and I was civil. I was asking how the states were going, and I literally made a case for why I believe that the U.S. government should remove the moral turpitude in America by rescinding the Constitution and using military force because it works. Other countries who do that don't have the moral quandaries that the U.S. does. There are some people in chat that like gave me flack for it, right? But like, the hosts wanted me to call back. They were really cool, and we had like a really good discussion. Because you're right, I don't come in cussing and I don't come in to mock. I'm just like, hey, this is what I believe at this time. Here's why I believe what I do.
Yeah,
So,
and we appreciate that. And
so.
you allow us to even ask you questions and give you pushback, and we have honest dialogue, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you won't last long as a panelist if you can't do any of those things.
Yeah.
Hey.
Claude had the hardest time learning that. He used to get beat up so bad on our Lion's Den open panels against evolutionists.
I think I did pretty well.
No, you did. You just got banned so much.
Yeah, well, at least I think I hold the record.
You
I
should
must
go to our
say-
t-shirt store and buy the I Got Banned on Proverbs Guy shirt. We made that for you, Claude.
I must
You're
say,
just trying to get donations any way possible. It's
I had a
We
great
have
You even
time.
have a
t-shirts.
merch line. You even have a merch line.
Yeah, but it's not very good. Like, we're not putting a lot of effort into it. You know what I mean?
Those are the best kind, though. Those, like, if done correctly, those are like the money makers.
I'm going to have my son draw some stick figures of him handing gospel tracts to a stick figure French Claude and put that on a t-shirt. And I bet that
That's
sells.
Well, I tell you what, I missed designer talk the other day because I don't think it actually happened. But I think he must be using AI to write the blurb for it, because it was just the most. My God, you think, who is this guy? A seasoned leader with decades of wisdom, a passion for truth, and a heart.
You don't
with a
think
sharp-
that's Dan?
No, with a sharp analytical mind and a deep reference of scripture. Well, I'd agree with that. The deep reference. He breaks down complex topics. He sounds like Super Bible Man.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that's how YouTube bios go. I mean, look at mine.
yeah.
It's not even like Christian related, but look at me. I am the god of Fallout 4, right?
Well-
I'm the god of Minecraft. Like, that's just how YouTube bios go.
Well, the thing is I wrote everything in that bio and I mean it. Like, I do think those ways about Dan. Now, Dan does have this childlike way of having conversations, and we call them Danisms, and he says stuff in really weird ways, which I do sometimes. And he sounds like the village idiot, but Dan has a good heart. He's got a good head on his shoulders for leadership. Like, the way he handled that whole Ryan situation back in the day was class. Like, he just came out, he ripped off the band-aids, like, hey, this dude had a conversation with a minor that wasn't kosher, and we had to terminate our dealings with him. Like, he handled it like a boss. You know, people can say whatever they want about Dan, but Dan is a heck of a leader.
Well, I enjoy his company. I get on with the.
Yeah, that's cool. Why are you talking smack?
Yeah, and Dan is probably the glue of the ministry. Like, he has kept me and Terry and Rich all in the same room because he's a conservative and he doesn't let Achilleas and I come out here on every episode and just bash, Republicans. So, like, you're welcome.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Well, isn't he the president of the ministries?
I'm not
Yes.
a Republican.
Okay, so yeah, so I mean, I guess he has like a reason to be, because
Well-
if he doesn't do it, everything collapses, right?
Well, I just wasn't good at it. The pressure was getting to me, and our live panels just turned into like bloodbaths at the end of when I was doing it. And we weren't able to have these good conversations like we have now. It was just bashing each other. So I handed it over to Dan, and I told him he would have to lead for as long as it would be. And he took it. And nobody believed that he was really the president. Like, they made so many videos about how he was the pretend president, but he's been doing it for over a year now, and he's been really good at it. Look at where we're at.
I got to take my dogs out. I'll be right back.
All right, Rich.
Well, the answer to the long-held question is Rich. Rich let the dogs out.
So what happened
Well.
to Achilles?
And I also know why the chicken crossed the road. So
To
Why?
get to the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, settled that.
To get to the absent referent.
Claude, what did you want to say? And then we'll
Oh.
get to Terry.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, what's this thing with Kent saying it's not his channel? Because it obviously is, and I just don't understand that. What behind that?
Well, I, again, am not in the who's who anymore, so I don't have any updated information. But the way Dinosaur Adventureland is structured is they have board of trustees, which have all been updated now. I am knowledgeable on that. So the board of trustees has been updated, and the board of trustees is technically over the ministry, so it would technically be their YouTube channel. Because as you know, Claude, Kent can't have a YouTube channel.
Well, yes, yeah.
Why can't he have a YouTube channel?
Because the haters couldn't take his smackdowns on evolution, so they kept reporting his channel for misinformation because they would be like really butthurt about the way he talks about their religion.
Well, it started off with a certain person, I forget her name, but they had a lot of fighting between them, and she reported the channel, and she got a lot of her followers, Emma, and then it got taken down. That was the second time, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that little Satanist girl?
Well, I wouldn't call her a Satanist. She just
Well,
doesn't believe in God.
She's the little girl with short hair.
She's
Right.
got this
That's
that they all have.
Emma Thorne. Emma Thorne.
Yeah.
She's worse than Greta.
No, nobody could. No.
You think Greta is worse?
Well, I don't have much to do with Greta, but
You know Greta.
I know who she is, but she's not one of my people that I follow. That's for sure.
She's that tiny little domestic terrorist running around the world.
she's no, see, I don't call her domestic terrorist because domestic terrorists actually do things. All she does is give speeches and complain.
So she's like a domestic nuisance.
She's not even domesticated. She's not domestic because she's not domesticated. She's just a nuisance.
Robin accused me of straw manning, and she usually only does that after we debate each other, like in official debates. So I must have straw manned something here. But for the life of me, I can't figure out what it was, Claude.
I can't remember what that was. It was something to do with the birthday. Oh, no, it's her birthday. Maybe it's she's birthday blues. Yeah.
What's that, Terry?
Is Achilles okay? I know he had an accident recently.
No, he's okay. Like I just was speaking to him yesterday or the day before yesterday. We were backstage together for a long time. I was getting some editing critiques from him on the documentary, but he was supposed to be here at 6:30 p.m. my time, and I still haven't heard back from him. So usually when that happens, he gets caught up with his friends. What, Terry?
I thought we would debate about something.
I mean, I think you and I agree on mostly everything, and I don't want to talk about eternal torment with Jamie because I really value his friendship, and it's not an important enough issue to me that I think we should get like in heated conversations about it. So I just never bring it up around him. I do the same thing with Achilles because Achilles agrees with Jamie.
He's an annihilationist.
He is, yep. And we've gone back a couple times backstage, but, you know, he's my best friend, so we don't get heated when we have these conversations.
Jamie says he's going to get you.
I'm expecting a YouTube video to drop any day that's like Proverbs Guys, the Heretic. But he does good stuff on Ron Wyatt, though. I'm glad you're out of the hospital, Jamie. You had everybody scared.
Definitely was.
So are they just never going to tell you guys what it was?
They don't know, I think. I mean, I think Jamie's pushing himself too hard. He's,
I almost passed out driving, and then I went to my doctor, and then they did an EKG, and then the doctor freaked me out because she's sent me to the hospital in an ambulance because of the EKG.
Yeah.
And so then I was just then I got started panicking kind of, and my blood pressure was 190.
Oh, wow.
Then they kept me over night because when you're have an episode like that, your heart releases something in the blood, and so they did tests at the hospital, and they're they had to make sure my heart stopped putting out that sort of signal in my blood, and so it did. So, and then by the morning I was fine. And another interesting thing was, though, while I was sleeping there, they kept taking blood, and then while I was there at night, and like my blood or my heart rate went down to under 40 beats a minute, which was weird, but I don't think there's anything that weird about that. But she had to come in and check on me, but all the blood tests came back fine, and then they did a ultrasound on my heart, and they didn't find anything. So,
Is there any way it's related to you smelling all the paint fumes all day?
no, I wear a mask. I have like protection for that.
Oh, dude, those masks are like suffocating. I'd rather smell the paint fumes.
My hubby.
Yeah, Robin says you do not want a stroke. Strokes suck. Poor Robin's coming out of it now. Diamond
Yes.
Dave, welcome back.
Hey.
But I'm taking it kind of easy, so I'm just gonna lay back here and listen to you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus,
I
that's
might,
the thing,
I
right?
might, yeah, I might go in a few minutes, just run to the store down the street, but I'd be back if you guys are still running. I'll hang out for a few more minutes.
Yeah, that just depends on how the conversation's going, but we'll see if we can hold it down without you.
Yeah, well, I actually have a question I wanted to ask earlier, but the cool thing
42.
about the way these panels go, they kind of go all over the place. I completely forgot. So I guess my question is, you, Steven said earlier, every time like you see my background, you like pray a hedge of protection over me, right? Is that correct? Now my
Yeah.
question is this, because I hear you say that, but I've also heard Christians say, and I'm just going to paraphrase because I don't know the full quote, right? But basically that Satan doesn't attack his own, he goes after Christians because technically I'm on Satan's side, right? From your beliefs. So my question is, why would you pray for a hedge of protection if that reasoning is correct, right? Because I won't be attacked. You see what I'm saying?
I absolutely see what you're saying, and I'll let you answer this too, Terry. But the answer I would give you is, my concern is not that Satan's going to be threatened by what, Diamond Dave is doing to the community of demons, and he's going to send them to kind of like gang jump you, or one's going to pick up a baseball and hit you in the head. I'm more concerned about them trying to deceive you through visions and Angel Moroni type of things.
Oh.
The protection I pray over you is more about, protection from falsehood.
Interesting. Okay.
But if you want me to pray that a demon doesn't hit you in the head with a baseball or something, I'll add
Well,
that.
I mean, and this is my thing. It's like, because I'm not concerned about that personally, based on some of the experiences I've had that we've talked about, and also just like what I do. Like, I've never ever had issues with that. But I will say too, like, you can pray for me all you want. I do not care. Right? I don't care. And I know that some people get really worked up and really angry when people pray for them. Right? And the way I see it is twofold. First of all, you have like a sincere heart. You care about me, which is nice, right? And you're doing it because you believe this is a loving and caring thing for you to do. So go for it, right? Not everyone sees prayer that way, but go for it, because I at least get like your intent behind it. And the second reason is, I just don't believe that any prayers you pray for me will work. Because whether we look at the Christian lens or any other lens, I have free will. And B, I'm already have my own spiritual things that I could counter it if I wanted. So, there's no sense in getting worked up either way you look at it.
Now, Terry, she came out of the occult, so she may have a different answer than what I gave. Terry, did you have something different?
Well, my point was more that the Christians who say that the devil doesn't attack his own, and he does. That's the whole point of getting you onto his side, is to eventually take everything from you and destroy you. It happens through deception over time. but Satan definitely has an agenda to destroy you. And once, I mean, you hear about it a lot of the times, you know, it's once people have been in things for a long time that they start to experience really intense spiritual attack. That does happen to some people that are involved in it for a long time. And any Christian who says that the devil isn't like trying to hurt someone who's on his side is like they're missing the point. The whole point is to hurt you eventually.
Yeah, the after you die argument.
Not just that, it's the separation from the truth and from God is a way of hurting you, also leading you down deception, getting you to give people advice that ruins their lives, or, you know, leads them in the wrong directions. Like the whole point is to hurt you and to take God's blessings from you. So that's just, you know, I think it's, I mean, there are people who, I guess, who when they come out, like they may experience what they would call a demonic attack or like spiritual attack when they're like trying to leave the devil. I know that some people seem to have that, like things turn dark on them. But I don't know. I don't think that. I think that the phrasing of that, Christian might be saying it's misguided. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Period. Whether you're on his side or not, the whole point is his envy of humanity and his want to destroy us because of God's special status for us.
Well, he's really good at his job.
Folks, I've just got to pop out for a while, so I just want to say thank you. And if I might be able to come back, but otherwise enjoying the show. Okay.
Cost you $100.
Farewell.
No, thank you, Rich.
Glad you have a sense of humor, Claude. Have a good night.
Oh, a big one. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. That's one thing you could say about our brother Claude. He do be joking around.
Getting back to the prayer thing, I kind of wanted to mention this. I wasn't sure, but I'll just go ahead and spit it out. I mean, you know, as a Christian, I believe 100%. You know, I mean, I fight for him on my heart, mind, and soul. But there's something I've been praying, we're asking God for the last 20 years, and He hasn't showed up and received. So it's like, at what time? There are times I even doubt it. You know, and doubt that He's willing to do that. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand that, like, my question, I don't think, and, like, it wasn't intended to be a gotcha, but as people were answering, I immediately just kind of got the distinct vibe that this isn't, like, a yes or no question, right? It's not like, is the Bible true, yes or no, here's why. It's like, it's a very multifaceted, like, circumstantial thing, I would argue, right? And I'm not sure if, like, because when you talk about the spiritual realm and the physical realm, I'm not sure it can be fully pinned down, right?
Well, I mean, that's one thing I've been working on. Like, I guess if you were to be able to scientifically prove the existence of God, you need to prove what the Spirit is. How can you do that?
Well, it's not even a scientific thing. It's you know, listening to Terry and her thoughts, you know, she said more than once some people, right? And these things do happen, and we all agree on this, but it's not all people. So the next follow-up question would be, well, why is it that it doesn't happen to these people in the occult? Why is it, why is it that some of the wealthiest people on the planet are some of the most evil people on the planet who are openly into the occult and nothing bad happens to them, right? So it's like, there's a lot of circumstances involved, and that can get murky too. Also, one thing I'm very suspicious of is someone who says they were in the occult and then magically become a Christian, and they sell books and do YouTube channels. I'm very suspicious of that. just because like there's many examples you guys may have heard of, like Mike Warnke.
Have you
There's
ever heard of Brett Keane?
I have not. Is I forget this one guy's name, but he was supposedly the third highest, like, um,
He
uh,
was the third highest
Keane.
ranked YouTube atheist when YouTube was new on the block.
okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with him. I'm thinking of a different guy, but like this guy, I think he's from like Louisiana or something, but he claimed to be like the third highest like occultist of his practice in like Louisiana or somewhere in the US, became a Christian, multi-millionaire YouTube channel, does deliverance. Nobody can corroborate his story. Nobody's heard of him in that like occult community. Nobody knows who he is, right? And it's the same thing. And you know, it seems to be like a trend in my experience. So, Robin, well, first of all, I don't believe in the concept of salvation to begin with. If I did, that would be like a fundamental flaw in my belief system.
I believe Robin's a former witch also.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, and I'm being very clear here, I am suspicious of anybody, and I'll say it again, I am suspicious of anyone who was in the occult, then turns around and claims to be a Christian, and then immediately sells books and does YouTube and like has this like big following.
Yeah, we haven't got Robin saved yet. I've been praying for that sucker, but she's stubborn, man. Like, she is
Well, what about?
stubborn.
Well, yeah, serial killers get saved. My buddy got saved in prison because it knocked off 5 years of his second-degree murder charge. It counts as good behavior, participation in church meetings. So, yeah, he got saved, got 5 years knocked off. He's on parole now, doesn't go to church, drinks alcohol more than I do, right? I mean, he lives a law-abiding life now, but he's not a Christian, right? And that's kind of the point of where I'm getting at, is I'm suspicious of everybody for different reasons, right? In this particular context, I'm suspicious of people who have this magic 180-degree turn and then start making stupid amounts of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think Robin makes a lot of money. She just does YouTube because she loves it. And she's not a Christian yet. We're working on her. But I think she's going to be easier to win than that big bad mama. He's as stubborn as Claude. You haven't been introduced to Bruce yet, have you?
I might have met Bruce.
Did Bruce yell at you that everything you know about the Bible's wrong and you got to get baptized?
No, there was a guy who got on my case. Is Bruce a trucker? Do you know?
No, I think you're thinking of Clay.
Okay, I got into it with Clay because he was telling me I'm not Hindu because I drink alcohol, which is a really weird hill to die on.
Clay, I mean, there's other truckers in the community.
Yeah, I don't know. I got into it with somebody, and I'm just like, all right, well, you can think what you want. I thought that was Bruce because I was like, I've had that experience with that guy. But
Yes.
I mean, if Bruce were to tell me everything I knew about the Bible was wrong, I would probably agree because I know only a few things and I don't care about the rest and don't really have an opinion. So,
What do you think about the ex-occultists who come out and then they like rebrand like their thing as like, oh, I'm a Christian deliverance minister.
it's money. It's pure money. I don't trust them at all. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, I just don't trust them, right? Because that's like that rebrand makes money.
Oh yeah. I'm just thinking too of there was a lot of controversy around some like ex porn stars becoming Christians.
Yep. It's a rebrand because their careers are over.
Are they not? I think it's something that time really has to tell, though. But I mean, if you're making money off of your ministry and it's like your new job, I think there's something pretty cynical about that. And you can.
Yeah, I don't trust anybody like that. I don't trust anybody like that because I mean, that's the go-to rebrand. That's the go-to rebrand.
I think if people did have a public presence and they feel that they led people astray or deceived them in their past life, they should probably publicly repent for that and show, you know, and say something about it. Um, but yeah, I think it depends. Some people are grifters. There's grifters in every community, though. Like
Sure. I
every
think it's
space I've found, there's people grifting. They don't really care about what they're there for. They're there for the wrong reasons, and it's all about their ego and trying to make money and exploit a community that's already there.
yeah, and I mean that's the go-to rebrand, right? Because I mean, just if you want to have access to like billions of people, right? You play that card because people, in my opinion, and I'm going to say this as gently as possible, but people are gullible enough to believe every repentance story. And then they put these people on a pedestal. I've talked about doing that before. I've said flat out on a podcast, another Christian conservative podcast I go on, where I just flat out said, hey, if I ever claim to be a Christian and like I'm, you know, still making money, shoot me. I'm just lying, right? I can't do it.
Or
Right.
there's real truth to it, and some of those people finally open their eyes that they're in such a dark line of work, and they're so disgusted with what they've done, and they found forgiveness and mercy in Christ when the entire world just spits them out and treats them like garbage. And maybe there's actual real power in that testimony, and that so many young women who are in that industry are just hoping and begging for a way out, and they find comfort in Christ and find a way to actually get back and turn around. It's not just about being public and being accepted by all those people. There's a lot of truth behind that. If it wasn't for my faith in Christ and for what God did in my life, I would have been dead by drugs and alcohol back in my 20s. Shoot, I probably would have committed suicide over 10 years ago. That's the only
Yeah.
reason I keep going. Like, if there was ever a reason in this world for me to keep going and stay alive and any purpose at all in this world, I have absolutely none. The only purpose I have left in this world is ministry. I could care less for anything about it. And the only testimony and the only thing that I have to say that about is my faith in Christ. That's it. There is nothing in this world that I want to be a part of, because I've seen the darkness. That darkness has come over me. I have, I've experienced it. Like, why I decided to dedicate my life to ministry was because of the evil in this world that happened to me back in like 2015, 2016. It was that bad. I wanted to go on a shooting spree to those people, but Christ gave me a reason to forgive them, and Christ gave me purpose, and he showed me several things why I need to keep going and serve him. It's not about money. I'm sitting here broke, but every single month God has provided me food, give me enough to feed my dogs, and give me enough to pay for my bills. That's all I strive for. I don't care about anything in this world, and there's power to that in my life. And if I can tell somebody about it, sure. Why do I preach the gospel and dedicate my life? Let's put it this way. If somebody found a cure for cancer and had a little pill, they would be obligated to give it to those people who are suffering from that disease. And that's why I want to do this with my life. There's no other real purpose. To me, if it took supposedly 14 billion years for life to evolve out of nothing, which is physically impossible, by the way. I mean, you can go to my Theories of Creation channel and look at my lectures on physics. But if it took life 14 billion years to evolve this consciousness, that presence behind your eyeballs, why does it last even only like 120 maximum? Don't you think the first thing it would figure out how to do is not die? But here it is going through this terrible struggle of evil on this world that they call survival of the fittest. It doesn't make any dang sense to me at all. It's not possible. There's so many things contrary to evolution, contrary to survival of the fittest, that just won't allow it to happen. That's where my heart is. And if I have a way to turn people away from that and say, look, there is hope, there's evil in this world, and life will be much better afterwards for those who believe, so be it. That's what I want to do. That this life is just a whisper, just a breath. I mean, 5 minutes ago I was in high school. Now I'm in my mid-40s. What's it going to be like in another 5 minutes? I'll probably be dead. In a blink of an eye, this life is just gone, and that consciousness is too great of a thing to just vanish. That's where my heart's at.
All right, thank you, Rich.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't know if I agree that, like, if you have the cure for cancer, you're obligated to give it. Like, what obligates? Like, there's no obligation there. We see that with just general medicine, right? It's not an obligation. Otherwise, it would be free.
Well, there's greed. So the medical industry, that's complete greed. If you did have that actual pill, so of course, metaphorically speaking that, but in this world, if you do have that pill, it's going to be bought up, buried, and because there's no profit in a cure. I mean, look at what happened to the guy who found a way to you run a car just off of water. He ran out of the restaurant saying they poisoned me. His patents were buried. I mean, the technology's there, but there's no money in it. It's the reason the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil.
But yeah, it's not necessarily even just about money. It's like, what obligates me to help people I don't like, I guess that's a very Christian worldview thing.
No, it applies to you too, Diamond Dave, because you do not want to come back as a Frenchman, and you will if you withhold a cure for cancer.
No, you won't.
What? You can withhold a cure for cancer and not come back as a Canadian?
Yeah.
That can't be a worldview. You're lying. You're lying.
No, because there's no like obligation there, right? Because it's all about like internal righteousness, peace, and enlightenment. All right. Now, should you do nice things? Sure. But you do realize in the caste system, castes, like part of your karma is how you interact with the lower castes, right? So withholding it from a lower caste is like just the norm. Why do you think that, like, if you look at India or like other countries with similar systems, why do you think the wealth disparity is so drastic?
I really don't know.
I mean, that's part of it. It's like, the wealth concentrates itself at the top. And hey, if you one of the key things is I can give to a lower caste, but I cannot take, right? But the thing is in order to avoid that like interaction in the first place in spiritual purity, you will find many people in India won't help the lower castes because if someone helps you, you are obligated to help them back, right? So that's intercaste mingling right there. Because if I help a poor person, if I help a Dalit, if I help a Gadiloa, let's say, they are honor bound to help me. But I cannot maintain my spiritual purity if I accept anything from them.
Man, Christianity is like polar opposite in that way.
Yep.
Like, what's that, Terry?
I said, man.
That's pretty extreme.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that's where past discussions of like reincarnation come in and why caste exists. Like, what did they do in a past life to deserve being born in that situation in the first place? Right? That's the belief. The belief is if they lived a righteous, respectable life, they would be born into like our level, and they wouldn't have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's evil. I wish the British would take over India again.
Here's the thing. They didn't even take it over the first time, which is hilarious. Everything they abolished, quote unquote, still exists. It still exists. I mean, sure, there's like British culture that was adapted, but now what you have is in like New Delhi and especially in the South, you will have like British pubs and like obviously British English and like grooming standards, right? But it's still very Hindu. Sati was abolished by the British Empire. Sati still goes on, and to this day, it's actually the number of like women who. So what Sati is, and this is part of like Hindu
Oh no,
mythology,
I
but you know what Sati is?
no.
Oh, okay.
You
So
don't.
sati is when like a husband dies, right? You know, cremation is big, right? Cremation is huge. But sati is when the widow lays on top of the funeral pyre and is burned alive with him because she has no social status or because of eternal love, wanting to be with him in the next life. Take your pick, there's more reasons. The British abolished that, but you can look it up. To this day, it's uncommon, but it still happens. And those sites where this took place, even historically, young women will go to and worship those women as goddesses. So if the British Empire had the capacity to take over India fully, they couldn't take it over even fully the first time. You still can't get rid of these practices.
Okay, that is so bizarre to me. Krista better just kick some dirt on top of my coffin and get remarried while she's young and hot.
Yeah, it's a very uncommon practice, but there's like a religious precedent to it. So that's why there are some groups that did that historically and why some people still do it to this day.
No,
This
they
is
did it because the women were going to be a burden to the rest of the society, and if they didn't do it, they would make their lives hell.
That's one of the reasons, but it also depends on like caste and the specific dynamic involved with each family. Because
Yeah.
there's different locations where they do it too. So you are right, but that's not the only reason.
I'll tell you what, Diamond Dave, I know you have to go to the store right now, so I'm hoping you get there and back before we close it down. But you said something the other day that really piqued my interest because not that long ago, I was watching, I think, Netflix, and I came across a documentary about. I don't want to say the name because I know you had to sign a form saying you won't talk about it, but we'll call it Double Fire. If you pick up what I'm putting down.
Oh, Double Fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested in your association and how you got tied in with because it sounds like you're still associated with them.
Yes.
So I'm assuming you have a different perspective of how things are with the association than what Netflix would say.
Well, and this is my thing. Netflix does everything for profit. And I've seen that documentary and I don't know, I found it really interesting because a lot of it's like hype. But what I will say on how I got involved with that, go back to 2018. I'm living in, Minnesota. I got my Wells Fargo bank job. This is before I moved to Utah and the Mormon thing happened, right? I'm streaming Minecraft. And one of the now like high-ranking people in that community back then, she reached out and was like, "Hey, this is a cool channel," and she hung out. We just hung out and talked, and she wanted me to promote a Minecraft project that was being worked on. And I'm like, no, but I will hang out with you and I'll play Minecraft in general because I don't like Minecraft mods. I like the base game. It's fun, right? It's fun for me. So I get invited to their Discord channel because, the person that I talked to, she, her husband, and their friends all, they had their own like Minecraft server. We would go hang out, play Minecraft. Cool. As time went on, we kind of got to know each other a little bit and found out that they were relationship coaches and things like that. And it was kind of a running joke because I've had very bad experiences with like therapy in the US, like growing up being forced to go. And everyone, including me, thought it was funny that I would end up in a Discord channel like full of people who are focused on self-improvement, right? So
Talking about that therapy stuff, I had a lot of stuff growing up and forced to go into them, and it just ended up destroying me, for lack of a better term. But another topic for another time. We should sit down and talk.
Yeah. So it really started from there. And then I met my wife, my now wife, in that same Discord channel on that Minecraft server. And then that's when I was aware of bits and pieces about it, but I got a fair understanding of the inner working even back then. And then, met my now wife. I'm in Mongolia, and that association continued. So, and then, I see like all the back end conversations, and I see, I interact with everybody for what I do. So,
Okay. That is very interesting and a much different take than what I have seen.
it's well, like with anything, and this is what I tell people, and I think this could apply to Christianity, right? Like you can have a perception on what others tell you, or you can like explore that thing for yourself. And that's what I did, right? Because I was fully aware of like, there's the documentary and all these other things, and I'm like, okay, that's fine, but that's an external view, and I'm aware of the backstories of individuals in that documentary more so than I want to be honest with you.
What about the women that claimed, like, did you know any of them, the ones who claimed that they were pressured to enter same-sex relationships or even be, transition?
I have to be very careful with how I say this.
Sure you do. And again, everybody, we're talking about double fire.
Yeah, because there are things involved. I will say this: I'm very aware with the story, and that is outright not true. Right, because day one, going back to 2018, there was never any pressure to do anything. Never. They knew I was not affiliated at that time. They never pushed it. They never pressured. It was always like, all right, well, like you guys. It was exactly like you guys, actually, where you're free to ask questions if you want. We invite you to explore. Otherwise, come play Minecraft with us and hang out. And that's really what I did. Like I would ask questions here or there, about the beliefs and what they do. But it wasn't that common. It was more just like if something popped up in my head and we'd have like a 5-10 minute convo and then just laugh, play Minecraft together and do shenanigans, right? Something else I will say that we should consider. I find it odd, and just using common sense here, people don't transition for the sake of it, right? If you look at gender dysmorphia or, people who do transition, they always say, I do it for me because I feel like I'm in the wrong body. Something's wrong here, and I feel better if I was, if my biological sex represented my gender. Transitioning is hell. I know a few people who have like just transitioned on their own, right? Nothing to do with this. That's just they transitioned, right? It is hell. It is painful. There is social stigma, and it's a physical pain to do injections and things like that, right? So I always thought that was sus because out of all the people and all the reasons that we hear that are universal across the board, this one person claims to be pressured to stay in that community. But as we all know, it's a very small community. It's a very, one could say, fringe community, one could say, right? So how
one could certainly say that, yes.
Yes, and so it's like, why would that be there? The emphasis to me isn't on so much external pressure. The emphasis to me is that person is craving a community so bad, they are willing to do these bizarre things to prove their loyalty. But that's not what any of it's about at all.
Well, you have to remember from their perspective, it was more along the lines of you get so close in the community and reliant on the organization. And one of the individuals that, we're talking about, she was even, I believe, a relationship coach, which at the end it seemed like it had turned into like, a spiritual dating app, to be honest. And I could be wrong. I'm not associated like you are. I just know of
Mhm.
it. But I could see with peer pressure too how she could have been pressured into going back or accepting a same-sex relationship because there were no other men, and she's a relationship coach and they need their relationship coaches to be in relationships.
I will disagree with that last point. Well, I'll disagree with a lot here. First of all, you do not need to be in a relationship to be a relationship coach. I obviously legally cannot give any names. I can think of 9 people off the top of my head who are single or relationship coaches right now. 9. Right?
Okay,
Um,
what? Who the hell
so
is going to see a relationship coach that isn't in a relationship?
I mean, right? That's like taking advice
well,
about
here's the thing.
Christianity
It's
from
well,
I'm not
someone who's
saying
so
not a
they're
Christian.
good,
but okay, so here's the
it don't
thing.
look right.
So when we talk about a relationship coach, that's the term that I'm going to use just for like NDA points, right? But here's the thing: the coaching is very much meditative and reflected inward to the self. Very rarely does it involve relationships. In fact, my wife and I, we go through that coaching together. Very rarely is it about our relationship. It's more internal, and this is where you get into like the ideologies and things of that nature because it's a spiritual journey, right? And it fits quite well with Hinduism, which is why, I mean, for me it works, it makes sense. There's, I could go on for hours about why, but it's practical, right? I'm just using the term relationship coach to avoid
I understand. That's what
anything
I'm
because
trying
I
to
am
do
not a
too.
spokesperson. I am not an official spokesperson for this organization.
Okay, but blink really rapidly if you need help.
No, you can't. No, I'm good. I'm good.
We'll
Um,
circle right back to this because I'm loving this conversation. But I want to say hi to Eastern Thomas. He is in the house. He's
How's
my
it going?
second favorite Catholic. What's up, bud?
Thank you. It's going good. It's going good. How are you?
I woke up today, man. I'm pretty blessed. The alternative sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a blessing.
is it
Man,
a blessing? Because if you didn't wake up, you'd be in heaven.
well, I still have like unfinished business here. I want to
I'm
watch my
sure you
son
do.
grow up,
All
and
right.
you
Your
know,
wife
Yeah,
still
but
has
if you were in
dignity.
heaven, I don't know if any of that would matter.
even though my next conscious thought will be before my Savior in heaven. I want to be at a position where I can leave my wife like a huge, something to be secure on. Like I'm not ready to go yet, Lord. I want to be with you, but I got some other things I need to wrap up first.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So yeah, circling back, right? I am not an official spokesperson, and that's why I'm just choosing my words carefully, and I'm doing
And
it.
that's what you have to tell us legally, right?
Well, it's something. It's more than that. It's like something that I want to make very, very clear. You know, um, if I was an official spokesperson, that would actually be really cool. It'd be nice to have official titles, but yeah. So that's basically the synopsis of how I got involved, and it's like the documentary paints it as like a cult, but I mean, it's not. People leave all the time. People just stop showing up to, people stop getting coaching. People stop volunteering. People stop watching. It's okay,
That's a very positive way of looking at it. Odine, what's up, brother? So is the couple that was like the leaders, are they
Mhm.
still together? Do you still play
Yes.
games with them?
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So the people I'm referring to are like up there. They're not the leaders. But yeah, I still talk with them. Haven't had a chance to play Minecraft with them lately, just because I mean my wife and I are busy, and then they're busy living their lives and working on their things too, right? But we still talk to them. They're still together. It's they're still pretty cool. So, and then like a lot of those people's this I can talk about was just because it's like a friend Minecraft server. People ended up just getting busy, losing interest, wanting to do other things, and we all still kept in contact. We just don't play Minecraft on that server anymore.
Now they are really religious, though, right? Like, even though it's just a group, don't they really believe heavily on like things like soul ties? Like they're spiritualists.
There's so for the community, in my observation, everyone is very religious, but it's going to kind of depend on who you talk to. Because, like, I mean, you have like Hindus in the group, like myself and people in India. There are some people who claim to be Christians in that group. There's a couple Muslims running around in that group.
It's
So
interesting that you said claim to be Christians.
claim to be. I haven't met them personally. All I know is like occasionally I will see people like in the forums or just on their Facebook pages talk about being a Christian or ask questions, be like, hey, I'm a Christian. How does this work? Whatever the case is, right? So I can only go off of like the post. And I don't think a Facebook post is enough for me to say, you know, to judge someone's like spiritual journey on, if that makes sense.
That's exactly how I determined Eastern Thomas was a Christian. I went right to Facebook and I was like, all right, this dude, he believes in Jesus. I see you, Eastern Thomas. He must have stepped away.
Oh, hi.
No.
What's going on? Sorry, I had to. Wasn't near my phone.
You just missed a fabulous conversation about an alleged cult that Diamond Dave had some loose associations with in the past.
I heard
That's
a little
interesting.
bit, like something about like coaching.
Yep. I could talk more about it. I tend to talk more about it off camera.
Is
Okay.
there a way? Well, we could do that backstage at some point if you're here for that part. But is there some way you could let him know who we're talking about that won't give it away or get you into trouble?
I mean, double fire probably would be. Wait, do you have private chat? Do you have private chat here?
Yeah,
Double
we do.
like some weird twin flame thing. I'm scared.
Okay, well, all right. Well, Terry just said it, so there you go.
What?
Now everybody is on the same page. That's what I was referring to as double fire.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm on their website, so
Is this
I can't, and I got yeah.
know about?
So it's like I could probably I don't know what I can and can't talk. I could probably talk more about it because there's a lot of influencers that talk about it. I'm less. I don't know. I guess I'm just more of a reserved person in that way. You know what I mean?
Wait. Is there like a specific group that's called that? Because I always thought it's just a phenomena that like is all over the place.
No, there's a specific organization.
My bad.
it's an organization that turned into a phenomena that's all over the place.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes,
Yes.
that's the group that turned into a movement.
They got all dumb bitches with limerence thinking that the guy who don't like them is their soulmate or soul ties, twin flame, and they're meant to be together. And the reason that he is just treating her like crap is because he really loves her.
Yeah, that's not even how that works. But people like to think that. I do get a kick out of reading a lot of those Facebook posts.
This person is my twin flame.
I happen to have also found my twin flame.
I would definitely say that about my wife. I would definitely say that.
Aw, that's sweet.
I refer to Krista as my rib.
Taster.
That's like a
Or do you
that's
take
like
turns?
I guess that's a Christian. That's like a Christian equivalent.
It is, yeah. It's like a Christian soulmate. Like I had my rib reattached to me.
Stephen, this is how your ministry makes money. You just make your own movement like this and
No,
call
sir.
it like the rib whatever, and then
Here's the problem with that. I am messianic on my dad's side and Baptist on my mom's side. Dan is like non-denominational but kind of Pentecostal, and then a lot of the other hosts are all like different degrees of Baptist. So we could never agree enough on theology to be anything but a ministry that wants to talk about Jesus.
mm-hmm.
Well, that's exactly where I sit, because I think as a body of Christ, we are so divided over stupid doctrine. Nobody can agree on. Like, for example, well, no, I don't really want to. There are some people here who I don't know how they got brainwashed into believing the doctrine that they do. And it turns out it's so selfish, but yet they call themselves Christian. And, like, I'm friends with them, but at the same time, like, I can't really fully respect them because there's that difference that we have. And you see that all over the place in the Christian community. Dave, I heard you talk about it, like a month ago or something. You said Christianity is the only one who will argue amongst each other. No other religion does that. And
Yeah. Well, maybe Islam is the exception, but generally speaking,
Have you ever been around some Jews? They're always arguing.
Okay, so it is just the Abrahamic faiths. Great.
I argue with each other.
I mean, yeah, it's like in my experience, Hindus don't like argue or debate each other. They will accidentally kill each other, though, which is kind of funny in a morbid sort of way. Because not a day goes by in India, right, where like cows are sacred and Hindu sites are sacred. So if a site gets and this has happened recently where a couple like temples have been vandalized, right? Some guy walking down the street who looks suspicious and looks like a Muslim would be killed. Turns out he's a Hindu Brahmin just walking down the street, right? And everyone's like, oh, whoops, so.
Mod.
Well, I guess we have that
We
on them.
don't debate each other. We just.
Why don't they just check out his wiener and see if it's circumcised or not?
Terry,
What is-
my
Well,
lord.
that's
doesn't
how
even-
I've heard that's what they do.
That's
I
a
feel like-
Jewish thing.
I feel like there's
Circumcision is a
lot of
Well,
Jewish
Muslims
thing.
circumcised too, don't they? Oh wait, no, they don't.
No, Muslims don't, and I was specifically talking about Hindus.
And Muslims keep their Sabbath on Thursday, which is not the biblical Sabbath.
Thursday.
I know, right?
I would be open to talking
That
a
is
bit more
bizarre.
about what we were talking about earlier, like off camera,
Thursday.
or like in the backstage. Are you guys going to be on for the next 20 minutes? Because I can go to the store now and come back.
So here's the thing. I almost always have this bad habit of wrapping up as soon as Eastern Thomist comes on. And I just feel terrible about that. So I can't do that tonight. So I'll be on for a while longer.
All right, I'm going to go to the store and then come right back. So
That'll be a good opportunity for us to hand it over to Eastern Thomist, and he can tell us about the fascinating news of the Pope.
What specifically?
I don't know.
What size is his dress? When is he going to start wearing pants?
I've heard mixed reviews. Some are saying that he's going to hold to the current standards on the LGBT community in the church and being baptized. But I've heard other articles and seen other news clips where they're afraid that he's already opened up the door to them being accepted in the church. What do you think is going to happen?
I don't think. Well, he's not gonna change doctrine. I mean, he doesn't have the ability to change doctrine. And there's actually a story that came out the other day where in Germany he's actually planning to punish many of the bishops in Germany because he thinks the bishops in Germany have gone too far in favor of homosexuality. So he doesn't have the ability to change any doctrine on homosexuality. Is he going to try to, I don't know, maybe take a softer tone? Maybe, but that's as much as I could see him going for.
What would it take for it to be accepted in the Catholic Church? Would they have to have like a conclave of the cardinals, or what's that entail?
It couldn't. I mean, under the current Catholic Church system, same sex marriage, same sex inclinations, same sex behaviors could not be accepted under the current Catholic model because it falls under the doctrine of morals. It's considered, it falls under the standard of faith and morals, which means that they can't change it. It can't be changed. So, for example, when Pope St. John Paul II said women can't be priests, that wasn't just him saying, well, this is my opinion, women can't be priests. He was making a dogmatic declaration that women can't be priests, which means no pope has the ability to do that. If a pope were to even try to do that, which would almost be an apocalyptic scenario, I imagine the church would probably just hold another conclave. I think there was actually a saint in the Catholic Church who wrote about what would happen if something like that ever happened, Saint Robert Bellarmine. And he said that if the Pope were to like ever try to attempt something that was contrary to the church's teaching on faith and morals, very likely what would happen is the conclave or the College of Cardinals would determine that he dissented from the faith, and they would probably just hold a new conclave to elect a new pope.
All right, Terry, you had a question for Eastern Thomas?
Yeah. So, okay, if the Pope, but you and the Pope were getting coffee, and he said, Eastern Thomas, you have to accept gay marriage, what would you do?
Well, if he's
That is a good question.
Well, if he said you have to accept gay marriage, then ultimately he would have dissented from the Catholic faith, and he would have fallen into the category that Saint Robert Bellarmine talked about, which is to say that he would not be a member of the Catholic faithful, because the magisterium of the Catholic Church says that you cannot you cannot support marriage between two men or marriage between two women. And that goes against the sacramental form of marriage. So he would no longer be a member of the Catholic faithful if he said that.
What would you do, though?
What would I do? Well, I wouldn't accept gay marriage because the magisterium of the Catholic Church says that there is no way that anyone can do that. So I wouldn't accept gay marriage. I mean, that would be an apocalyptic situation, but hypothetically, if it happened, it would be contrary to magisterial teaching.
Would you throw your coffee on him?
Well, I want you to follow up on something, because I listen to Dr. James White probably every evening, and he is not the most favorable person towards Catholics. You probably are aware of that.
Really? What makes you say that? No,
just a hunch I have. I also suspect that he may be a Calvinist, but he's been saying that a lot of the conservative Catholics have been getting shoved out of leadership, and this goes back to the last pope. And now he says that he doesn't think within a generation there'll be any conservatives left in the top tiers of leadership in the Catholic Church, and that would open the door towards the LGBT friendliness.
I'm scared.
Well, no, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, there is a system in the Catholic Church where even progressive ideals can't really be accepted because of how systematic the Catholic Church's model is. So for example, if Pope Leo XIV said tomorrow we're going to have women priests, or we're going to allow women to be priests, well, Pope St. John Paul II already said that it is doctrinally inaccurate it's doctrinally inaccurate to say that a female priesthood would be consistent with the sacramental form of holy orders. So if Pope Leo were to do that, millions of people would leave the Catholic Church because he'd have no credibility. And so because of that, there's basically almost no way for the Bishop of Rome to just come out and say, okay, this thing in the past happened, and now it's good. This thing in the past happened, and now in the future, we're just gonna go the complete opposite direction. It's not like a presidency where you have one president and he has views on some issues, and then the next president takes over, and that president, goes the complete opposite direction. Or you get a president that goes the complete opposite direction, and that president just completely changes policies or undoes what the previous president does, because the magisterium of the Catholic Church and the teaching authority of the Catholic Church transcends the Pope himself. The Pope himself doesn't really have a means wherein he can just contradict blatantly what a previous pope did. So you can't really do that. Now, I get what he's saying, that yes, the Pope has elected some bishops that could be considered more to the left than previous bishops. But I think it's narrow-minded to say that. I think it's narrow-minded to say, well, that's going to lead to change in Catholic Church doctrine, because number one, again, the system of the magisterium, the way the Catholic Church is structured, is very, very difficult.
And I agree with you, but Batman 144 says that electing those liberal-leaning men in positions of authority is a sleeping cancer in the Catholic Church. That's what I Am Batman here was saying.
Oh my God.
I think it's absolutely not good, but I don't see it leading to doctrinal change or doctrinal progressivism. I think the most you could see is maybe a softer approach to certain issues in the past, which is bad. But in terms of doctrine, likely nothing would change in that.
I have another question.
Yes.
I know it's not St. Thomas Aquinas school, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but
It's okay.
I had a question about the baptizing the homosexuals. Now, if you are baptized as an infant and then you later become a homosexual, what can they do about that? They can't do anything about that.
Well, they can't do anything about it. The Catholic Church teaching.
Are they going to unbaptize you by blow drying you or something?
No, you can't be unbaptized. I actually have a video coming out tomorrow about baptism for my live stream. But essentially, what is taught by St. Thomas Aquinas and has kind of been accepted into the church is that baptism imparts what's known as a sacramental character. And so what St. Thomas and others in the church basically surmise is established sacraments like baptism and like chrismation and like the Eucharist. Is he didn't have to do that, but he willingly chose to do that because it left essentially a lasting imprint on the person that ultimately is a sign of the interior that was happening to them. And so if a person gets baptized, they still have that imprint on them their entire life. Now, that if a person denies that baptism, then and goes on and lives a licentious lifestyle, then they're not.
So we have lost Eastern Thomas. Your connection has really dropped off, bud.
No.
Let me get on my laptop. I'm going to get off my phone and get on my laptop. See if that works better.
All right, we'll see you right back. Odin, are you here yet?
What's up, Odin?
I thought for sure
Hey.
he would want to defend when I tried to get him in the fight with Eastern Thomist.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Honestly, I'm tired.
It's Thursday.
You've been working a
Yeah.
lot lately.
Yeah, very, very much so. Uh, it's kind of difficult from going from like 7 hours to like, I don't know, 15, 16 hours a day.
Lena,
Yeah.
Lena said something interesting I want to respond to.
Oh,
It's
go ahead.
be homosexual. It's a sin to do homosexuality. You are what you do.
Yes, that is true.
How are you
Thomas says
homosexual if you don't do no homosexuality?
I understand what she's trying to say, and I think I agree with the point that homosexuality is an act, it's not an identity.
Yeah.
So I can't be, I can't be an action, and homosexuality is an action.
right.
Well, I mean, like, you can't identify with your actions and that kind of thing. I think that's most people do have that to a certain degree. They find their identity in their actions. But I'm just saying, like, how do you determine somebody's a homosexual if they don't do any homosexual stuff?
Like, that's the crazy part, because
You
I
shouldn't.
never wear a t-shirt around in public when I'm with my wife, like I'm straight or anything to identify as a straight person, and I don't make out with my wife in public to show people that I'm straight. Like, I always found that so bizarre that it becomes so much of their identity that they just want everybody to be as closely involved in it as possible, and then tell people that it's none of their business. Like, why are you trying to involve me in it then? I shouldn't know what happens in your bedroom. I should go the rest of my life wondering if you're gay or straight. Like, I just shouldn't know.
Yeah,
I don't even think it should get to that point. I don't even think you need to think and wonder. I think you just live your life. I agree with you. I just take it that step further, right? I don't even think about it, right? I shouldn't, and this is where I agree with Stephen, I shouldn't have to think, even entertain the thought of what your sexuality is. You know what I mean? It shouldn't even come up.
Yeah, it's not professional most of the time.
And to
I'm
be
back,
walking.
by the way, Stephen.
I noticed that. Yeah, that was quick.
Yeah, it's literally like, maybe one city block away. Have to make a couple turns, but it's like quarter of a block, take a turn, half a block, and then like 2 buildings down.
Well,
we live in a very good area, very convenient.
You missed a very intriguing conversation with Eastern Thomist, and he was telling us how the Pope cannot allow the LGBT community to be welcomed in the church, that it doesn't just go through him. And then I Am Batman came on, and he was talking about how he's writing a paper against Hinduism and Catholicism, and he wants everybody to proofread it.
It's funny because
a paper against Catholicism?
No.
No, he's joking.
No, I knew he was joking. Because if that were to be true, I would actually be impressed, right? Because very few Westerners like bother to study Hinduism, because it's a lot, right? Like, I know quite a few people who've read the Bhagavad Gita and the Puranas, the Kama Sutra, and they're like, I don't understand any of this. It's like, yeah. That's fine, because it's a completely different way of thinking, right? So it's fine. But if you were to actually sit down and like bash it out, because what I have seen Christians write about Hinduism is like very vague, it's very generic, and it's like horrendously wrong in many occasions, to the point where I want to like not debate these guys, but actually just show up and be like, yeah, you're blending all these different sects together and telling Christians this is how you witness to them, right? That's why nobody's going to take, that's why you don't have any Hindu or even just like Hindu adjacent followers is because they read it and they're like, nope, doesn't apply, and then move on.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I am close to be, well, I am close to finish writing a paper. As a matter of fact, Brother Stephen, um, I would actually like to sit with you at some point to go through the paper, and I have a request. Would you be willing to create a like probably like a small video or video series, whichever that's more convenient to kind of visualize the paper. The paper is on it's tackling the historicity of the Exodus. And obviously it's not about proving, right? We don't have complete access to the past, obviously, but using all the available evidence in a way that is consistent. I think I have done something pretty amazing. And so I'm almost finished, and I would like for you and a couple people to go over it. I think theories of creation would be very interested in it. I don't know if Diamond Dave is into that stuff, but
I'm still wondering when you want to set back stage and talk about your other paper. I went through it once. I need to go through it again to remember what I read. But is it the
oh
same
yeah,
paper you gave me before?
I think I gave you like two papers. I don't remember, but yeah, this one is about the Exodus, and it's something that I actually would like to be put together in a consumer friendly way. Um, and I think it'll deal with a lot of the criticisms that non-theists would bring up. And essentially my approach is to use as much external evidences as possible to see if they line up with the scriptures.
I would
And
be honored, but you will have to remind me again. But
oh
yes.
yeah, I'll text you. It'll be finished this weekend. Um, I'm not going to be working this weekend, thankfully, so I'll have time to put in and polish up a few things.
Now, I
And
have a bunch of videos on Ron's individual discoveries, but I did just drop that Ron Wyatt documentary yesterday, so you may want to go check that out too.
is that about the Exodus and Egypt and stuff like that?
It does go over part of the Exodus in the chariot wheels that he found at the bottom of the Gulf of Aqaba.
Okay, cool. I'll take a look at it then if that's the case. Maybe there's something that I could, you
What kind
know.
of evidences are you looking for?
Oh man, there's so much. Well, I'm not really looking for any specific like evidences, just whatever that's available. Um, and when I say evidence, I mean like papers that I could like, cite, like professional sources and stuff like that. And believe it or not, there's a lot more, there's a lot of evidence that you could point to that actually kind of demonstrate the Exodus story. There's a good chance that that is definitely true. The book of Joshua, for example, is almost in line pretty much with the Amarna letters that a lot of people don't know about. Um, so there's a lot of interesting stuff that I think will blow your mind once you go over the paper.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Who would have known? People saying, the whole Joshua stuff was a myth. Turns out it's really not, because there are some
Well,
external sources that.
and that's the thing. Like the claims that we have to defend are so easy to do now because you can start with one that has an incredible amount of evidence from different professionals, not Ron Wyatt types. Like scientists with degrees who are knowledgeable have gone to Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia, and there's no question that that is Mount Sinai. Like that's the biblical one, and it lines up perfect with where we have found the chariot wheels for the Red Sea crossing. And then that lines up perfect with the Exodus, like from Egypt into the wilderness to start with. Like and it leads into all the other proofs.
Well, there's another interesting aspect to this that I came across, and it's essentially the idea of silence, right? Like if the Egyptians doesn't say anything about a particular thing, that essentially means that it's not true because they record everything, right? That's not true. A matter of fact, if they are silent on something that happens, it's because it's not beneficial to them. They don't write down their losses
Well, and
like
they
at
also,
all.
when they would have conflicts, they would often go and destroy evidence. Like this happened so many times with Egyptian pharaohs, like coming to power and like basically destroying everything that the previous one had built.
Well, they invented
Yeah,
propaganda.
And like putting their own name on like buildings that they wanted to basically, so the Egyptians were funny.
there's a spiritual reason why they do that, right? If they see anything that's like embarrassing or like losing, they see that as chaos, and whatever they write down um, about their history, right? It's etched forever in their like from a religious perspective. And so if you write something bad down, right, that's etched into existence forever. You're adding chaos to the timeline, and that's something they don't want to do, and that's part of the reason they don't record their losses or anything that's like embarrassing, especially about pharaohs or powerful individuals. So, but there's other things that you can look at that they actually wrote down that would give you an idea as to, how they might, how I'll give you an example. One of the pharaohs, for example, he went on a slave raid where he got 100,000 slaves as he claimed. Now, sure, he can write that down as an achievement, but why would he want to do something like that in the first place? You see what I'm saying? Like, you'd want to raise those questions, basically. But yeah, that's what I've been working on when I do get the chance to. But I'm close to being finished with it. I just need to go over the format and all of that stuff, and do like spell checks and have Microsoft Word or the AI check my wording.
What's your spell check's name? I call mine ChatGTP and Krista.
I use Microsoft Word because it'll like automatically highlight everything, but for certain things that are not certain words that aren't English, um, I'll either use Google Gemini or ChatGPT just to go over, um, just to make sure those words are spelled correctly.
Hey, I'm gonna pop out of here. I've been fun hanging out with you guys.
All right, later. Tell Jamie we said hi.
Oh, he's right here, Jamie. They said
That
hi.
that's Tom Selleck to us little peons.
How's it going, Jamie?
He said,
Brother Jamie, when's the next
he's
stream?
like on his own phone with he's listening, watching one of his programs.
What do you guys say about ending this stream and going backstage so we can get physical?
Oh boy, here we go. All right, yes,
boy.
That sounds
that's fine.
homosexual.
I got
It's
Sounds
definitely
like you're gonna
not.
like start a fight.